Welcome to Aquarian Anarchy, everybody. Sorry we're a little bit late, but here's our quote for our listening audience. I will read it out loud to you. Everybody else can read it, hopefully. This is from H.L. Mencken, and this is perfect. As democracy is perfected, the office of president represents more and more closely the inner soul of the people. On some great and glorious day, the plain folks of the land will reach their heart's desire at last, and the White House will be adorned by a downright moron. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to yet another edition of your favorite podcast. Don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe, and become a patron to our Patreon. We want to welcome our YouTube audience as well as our Libre TV audience. We are streaming to both locations as we speak. Our guest tonight, you see him in the top right corner, Adam Nutter. We will get to him in just a second, but first, welcome our esteemed colleague Nico, and of course the main man who got this whole thing started, Marcus. Adam, how you been doing, man?
Good, man. Thanks for having me. First of all, very honored to be here.
We're pumped to get this going. So I don't really have like a great introduction except to say this, as a comedian, hopefully you'll appreciate this. I didn't work on this a whole lot, so forgive me if it's not the most polished in the world. But so from what I understand, if you had been a little more willing to, I don't know, I guess run over what could have possibly been the future mother of future baby Hitler, we wouldn't be stuck with your shitty ass comedy, but at least you're not a cop. So there's all that. No, I'm just
no, I mean, accurate on all accounts, I guess. I mean, slam dunk, dude. I suck. It's fair.
No. So what I've heard the story, in a few different iterations and everything of how this whole thing started, but it seems like you were kind of already doing a little bit of the comedy thing before you were kind of forced to quit your job with the police force and everything. But where did that the meshing of like libertarianism and quitting the police force and going into comedy and all that shit, like how does that all sort of like become the man that we know now as Adam Nutter?
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack. I mean, I look like a psychopath, first of all. I mean, look at me. I'm wearing a fucking... I don't think I wore a shirt with sleeves in 4 months. Like, I yet to wear... Every nice. I've been on, like, do you own sleeves? I'm like, I don't think so. I think all my shirts... But, no, I mean, I look a certain way. I wasn't always this heavily tattooed. I always, was this tattooed guy, though. But, so the story for new audience, essentially, yes, I'm from Staten Island, New York. I always loved comedy. I grew up listening to like Opie and Anthony and like the greats like Patrice O'Neal and all those guys. And I fucking love comedy. I was a comedy nerd. And when 18 hit, I was like, oh, I live in the city to fucking start stand-up comedy. Like New York or LA is like two great places to start. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, right here, right over the goddamn river, dude. So I started doing open mics at the comic strip, which is like an older class. That's where like Jerry Seinfeld started, and like, it's a piece of shit now. That place sucks. But like back in the day, it was like a really good club. But even when I started, like it was like already not, it was already like gone. But I started doing shows, open mics there, and I started doing comedy for like a year or two. And you suck. You suck the first 5 years of comedy. But I was just doing it. I fell in love with it. But I was panicking because I was like, oh, I don't know if I can make a living off this and make money. I live in New York. I live in Staten Island, which is New York City. It's so expensive. Like I'm like, I can't just live with my parents forever. That's fucked up. Like I want to be like, I'm gonna go pursue comedy and just be a loser for 12 years who's never made money doing comedy, still living at home. Like doesn't have a wife now. Like I'm gonna be one of those guys. So I panicked, and I was like, all right, well, maybe I should go into like a job that's stable. And I was like, well, I hate bullies. I was 21. This is very important. I was 21 years old. Like I didn't understand. So I was like, I hate bullies. Like cops to help people, right? Like, that's again not I was a kid from very white Staten Island, New York, when all of the adults in Staten Island were like city workers. Like, you guys got to understand like where I grew up. Like an Italian, I know Nutter's not an Italian name, but I'm an Italian kid from Staten Island. When your family's cops and firemen and fucking sanitation and who works for this department of what, the city energy of whatever the fuck. So like you grow up being like, oh, government's fine. Like you don't understand like all the shit. So 2021, I was like, oh, well, again, I hate bullies. I'm like, I know how to fight. I was an MMA guy, right? I come from fight. I was like, oh, I get to help people. I'll do this. And then you get the second you get into the academy, like you're like, I'm here to help, and they're like, wrong. They're like, we don't do that here.
Well, you're there to help. You're just there to help different people.
Right. Yeah, you're there to help the money of the state. That's all you're there to do, right? So you're like, oh no, fuck. Like, now I'm in it. All right, so now you're in it. Like, you go to the academy, you're like, all right, because you still think you could like make a difference. Don't.
You can be the good cop.
Right, but it's the system is so fucking broken. You can't. Like, you literally cannot. I know. Like, people think you can. I'm telling you, you can't. Like, I'm telling.
Right.
Like, you cannot. You will get run out somewhere. Like, you will piss some. It's not the guys around you. It's always like some superior somewhere who's the corrupt one. It's not usually the guy or girl next to you. It's always like, the somewhere up the line where they're the ones who's pulling money from somewhere or taking donations from somebody to do something. Who the fuck knows, right? But then 4 years in, I had a kid, and I was like, well, now I'm fucked. Now I need money because I have to be responsible. Right. I was looking to get out. But I was like, well, fuck it. I'm in now. It is what it is. I'll just do 20 and bounce. Like, I'll just do the best I can. I'll do, because then this is also now I discovered Ron Paul, because I was never a Republican. I was never a Democrat. I just knew what I liked and didn't like. And I guess I really didn't know what Libertarian was at that time. Then I was introduced to Ron Paul. I was like, oh, this is it. I was like, oh, I fucking hate what I'm doing. And I was NYPD.
You all of a sudden feel way dirtier. It's like you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, God damn, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I had all this shit on me. Like, what?
So, and I was NYPD, and I was the stop and frisk. That was my time.
Oh, wow.
Now, I worked on Staten Island, and I worked in an all-white precinct. And when I don't mean cops, I mean like the public was pretty much 95% white people. So I didn't have like the whole racial interaction stuff with the I didn't. And this is why it's also important. It's not so much a racial issue; it's a poor issue, because we had so the precinct I worked in Staten Island we had some of the most wealthiest property in the country, not just New York, like the country. It was called Toad Hill, TODT, Dutch. And like Howard Stern owned a house up there. I think Sylvester Stallone owned a house up there. Like, we had like crazy wealth from there to poor heroin white beach houses.
Right.
And they hated us like everyone else. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was yeah.
It's like these city designers. Indianapolis is very similar. It's like they're like, you know what? Let's put the criminals right next to the rich people. Let's make it easier for them to find the targets and acquire the money.
Yeah.
Chicago's littered like that. It's real sad. Chicago is littered. Like, for example, for I go up to work all the way up north and Broadway, so it's like all the big houses.
Uh-oh. Nico froze.
He did say that was going to happen before.
So,
Nico got zapped.
There he is. I'm back.
Yeah, you're back. You're back. Go ahead.
Oh boy. So I'm walking, and there's like a Buddhist temple and a whole bunch of apartments, and there's like a whole bunch of like homeless people and like some people who are off some kind of drug, and they just go around terrorizing people, and I'm like, oh no. Like, and it doesn't help because the police officers are assholes. Well, I can't say all of them are, but like they act like assholes. They're just sitting down and minding their business, doing whatever they're doing, and the police are like, "What are y'all doing? Like, go move around." So then, when they go move around, they start terrorizing and start fucking with other people.
Yeah, it's a broken system. It just is what it is. It's not meant. It's not set up for success. It's just not. So it's so now like again now I'm in it now, and now I'm like, all right, well, let me at least police to the best. So I'll really just I'll just do like I'll focus on like assaults, theft, stuff that we all agree should be illegal anyway, right? Like violent crime and theft.
Violent crime, yeah.
So like I think I only have one drug arrest, and it was forced on me. So like, it was two guys smoking PCP on a college campus, and no, actually, it wasn't on a college campus. It was outside the college campus, and the college security guard acted like he was acting like a fucking cop, and he rolled up on him
because he thought he was.
Yeah, he was making a big deal, and like we didn't, like our sergeant got involved, and he was like, "We got arrested." Like, fuck. It was like a whole thing, but yeah, and then I was like, well, I said, I thought I was stuck, and then what happened was I have a bunch of concussions, so I have a bunch of concussions from football, from years of football, years of mixed martial arts, but then I also got into 3 really bad car accidents while on that job. And as Chad was saying, the 3rd car accident, I almost killed. It was either my decision was kill this young woman or hit a pole and go into oncoming traffic. Like that was my choice. Like, and I wasn't even going that fast. I was going like 35 miles an hour. But like people, that's fast. Like people don't understand how fast that actually is. You know, when you're in a make or break situation.
20 miles per hour can kill you.
Yeah, it's wild. So like that was the last kind of Strasburg Camel's back injury for me, where I hit the pole. The pole came down the car. I kind of blacked out for a little bit. And it was a big pole, and I enjoyed it. It's fine. Okay? I understand the fucking problem. It's 2021. So I initially sucked it. No, so I got
so Adam's a comedian. I'm just letting everybody know. Like, that's what happens.
It did not knock
down
me
the path. It just fucking goes.
Yeah, it happens. We just came up with a comedy podcast I was doing. So it knocked me unconscious for a little bit, like a few seconds, and then we came into oncoming traffic. Luckily, it was midnight and no cars were coming our way. But then I woke up and there was people standing around me. I was like, fuck, can't be good. Like, when there's people like going like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, probably not. If you're asking me if I'm okay, I can't be okay. So, and then the guy I was with, he wasn't even my normal partner. My normal partner was actually on vacation that week. He was my buddy, and he was like okay. He was fucked up, but like okay. Like he just hurt his ankle and leg and shit. And then I got rushed to the hospital. They called my shit off, and they collared me up. And from there on out, that like it was all again just the years and build up, and especially those 3 car accidents of the head trauma stuff. Like I started getting I got like depression. I got like this bad anxiety. I fucking gained a shit ton of weight from the medicine. I was like miserable. And I got bad thoughts, all that, like all the chemical imbalance stuff. My producer's gonna walk by. Sorry, that's his fat back. Yeah, you deserve that. You deserve that insult. I love you though. Are you gonna walk back? Get out of here. Go fucking no. Stop it. Get out of here. Don't fucking make plugs. He's plugging himself. All right, go follow him at Jesse Rodriguez
He's
show.
walking with his shirt facing the right way this time.
Piece of shit. Yeah. So I was dealing with all the depression and all that shit. Like I was not in a good spot, and that's what all the head trauma stuff does to you. It makes you chemical imbalance, and then also on top of that, just headaches all the time. After my last car accident, I couldn't look at sunlight for like 2 days. I couldn't look at a TV. I couldn't look at my phone. I couldn't look at anything. I was and the NYPD, how it works, like if you get hurt the next day, you have to go to the NYPD doctor to report to him, and he like determines like how long you stay out for and stuff. And like if you don't go, they consider you like missing, like AWOL. I was so hurt still from the hospital. I slept for 20-something hours.
Oh my god!
And they sent cops to my house to be like, "Are you okay?" Like, no,
I'm not good. No.
You got a really bad car accident.
Like, I'm not faking it. Like you fucking like, cause that's what it's for. That's kind of what the system's set up for. Cause a lot of guys fake it.
Wouldn't your like accident be put into like the?
Oh yeah, no, it was. It was. Of course, it was. Yeah, it was. But they still think you fake it. It's not.
Yeah, because you could have just been an offender bender and been like,
right,
my neck and my back,
right,
and,
my neck and my back,
my pussy and my crack.
I was there with you, man.
Is that where that pole went? Come on now.
If I was lucky. So I was fucked up, and like I was real fucked up from the injury, and like so I missed the appointment, and I had to just call them and be like, yeah, I can't drive,
right?
Like I can't even look at, like I could barely open the door, like for these guys, like that's how. So they just kept me out and kept me out, and then like I kept getting worse with the headache. I would just get like sporadic, like mind numbing. Like I was getting headaches already from the head trauma, but this was like next level where like I would have to stop for hours and just lay down. Wow. And it was bad, and they kept being like, all right, come back in a month. All right, we'll come back in a month to talk to us. Like come back, and then like I started like getting to the point where I was like emotional every time I would go back to the doctor, and like I would start crying. Like it was bad. Like and he was like, you can't do this job anymore. And I'm like, I know. I'm like,
I've realized that for some time now.
I'm like, you don't want me doing this job anymore. I'm like, because my decision making ability still is not like great. Like it's impulsive. Like I do very things on the fly, which isn't like a sign of head trauma. My mood swings are fucking crazy. Like I'll go from like really bad temper to like crying. Like in minutes, like it's fucking bad. Like it's not good. So I have to. It's stuff I work on. But I smoke a lot of weed, so I mail a lot of time. But it's all things that I work on. Yeah, I have to work on for the head trauma stuff. But that's why I'm not a cop anymore. Because like I would have had to stick it, and I would have probably started trying to do comedy again. But I never would have made it I couldn't make it a career because nighttime stuff, right? I was doing midnights, but I also probably couldn't. Just know how I would have done both. This beyond me, but I probably you probably wouldn't know who I am like at all if I was still on that.
Yeah,
job.
that's crazy. Yeah, my daughter got hit in the head. She was in 8th grade, I think, and I mean it really pissed her off, messed her up because like there was some stuff with like scholarships and stuff for like high school and everything that she was going for that like her grades just like tanked because it was like right before the end of like right before Christmas. And so like the last half of the year, she just like struggled. She couldn't like read for 5 minutes without like getting headaches and stuff like that. She couldn't look at anything. She couldn't be in the sunlight or even like she had like real dim lights to do stuff. And it was hard for her to study, hard for her to like stay focused and like stay on anything for more than like 5, 10, maybe 15 at the most minutes before she'd start getting headaches. It was really tough. And then like she still has like some little residual things here and there that just kind of will pop up from time to time. So it's not like people don't really like have a true appreciation for how fucked up that shit makes like your whole existence in life. Like I've had like a hand injury or something like that, or an arm injury, and it's like, damn, I didn't realize how much I'll use my left arm. And it's like you don't realize how much you use your fucking head. Until you
that's like when you get a sore throat and you're like, I'll never swallow normal again. I take for granted every swallow I have without a sore throat. It's the same. It's the same thing. But yeah, and that's the thing is like, I kind of stopped going to head doctors because like I would be like, well, do I get better? Like, not really. It's like this is how you are now for life. Good luck. Like, there's no cure. There's nothing to do. There's no medicine. Like when I get those headaches, they're not as common as they used to be. Like, but if I do get them, they would just give me like 800 milligram like ibuprofen, which is nothing. I have a high tolerance for drugs as is, and like that's the I'm like this is nothing for me. So the weed helps, but what's the point? I was wasting my time going to doctors. Like they were just like, yeah, just this is gonna be how it is. So I just gotta, I guess, go back to start seeing a therapist again. That might help, but like I don't know. It's just one of those things. It just kind of sucks, It's just like, yeah.
The anarchist in me says, "Have you tried microdosing mushrooms?"
I've done mushrooms, but for fun.
But have you microdosed?
No, but that's something I might start looking into because I'm on that path now too. I'm like, I might just fuck it. Like
They say that mushrooms most definitely help with the reconnection of the brain.
Yeah.
In certain aspects, that's what they use for. That's what they recently decriminalized it for PTSD and things.
Colorado.
Of that nature. Yeah. So
yeah, Colorado's a bunch of commies a lot of the time, but they got some shit down.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's weird. It's like, do I want to move there, or is it going to be worse? Like I don't know. But like, it made me think. So not fast forward, but rewind. Like, let's say this happened and it's 25, 30 years ago, and you can't like. Weed isn't as accessible, and it's more that like where do you think you are with that, and like how your treatment would be if it weren't in this day and age where a lot of that stuff is a lot more accessible than it was 25, 30 years ago.
I would for sure still be on meds, right? Like for sure. Like I was on Lexapro and Seroquel, which is like heavy duty. For anybody who doesn't know, it's like heavy duty mind shit. And like I found this out after the fact. apparently a bunch of guys come back from Iraq and Afghanistan and have severe PTSD who were on Seroquel were killed themselves, and they were calling it Serokill because it was so fucking bad.
Damn.
And I was like, great. I was on that. Cool. That's the thing. Is like, I was sad and depressed. And
you're already feeling that way anyway.
Right. And then you take these and like, I still feel sad and depressed. And like, I stopped taking a cold turkey, which I don't advise to do, but like, I did it. I just did it. I was like, fuck this. I'm done. Like, I'm not putting this shit in my body anymore. So I don't drink anymore either, which like for each his own. Like I know a lot of my friends drink, my wife drinks and stuff, but like, I never had a problem. Like I never was like an alcoholic, but I was like, I don't like, this is literal poison that I'm putting in my body. Like I know it is. Like I know it. We all know alcohol is not good for us. We do it because it's the accepted risk we take is for fun, right? It's like I want to relax, I want to kick back, so I'm gonna take the risk of putting this poison in my body that my body shouldn't have. We all know that, but that's the risk, right? Weed is like I feel like just a straight natural thing. Like there's, I feel like it's not bad for you. I it's bro science, sure, but like I don't think it's bad for you. I know weed is like I was gaining weight on. I know alcohol is like I was gaining weight on it. Like I felt like shit all the time, like hangovers. Like I'm 35 almost now, but like, dude, I would wake up with shitty hangovers and be like, "Yo, I want to fucking kill myself. Like this is fucking awful. Like I felt like a fucking slug. Like this got salt poured on him. Like I was dehydrated. Like I was like killing me to my wife. She's like, dude, it's fine. I'm like, I'm not fine. Like so, I just stopped like 3 years ago, more than that, probably 4 years ago now. And I feel so much fucking better, like so much fucking better.
Yeah, and I think that ultimately, you know, you're right. Alcohol has very little, and I don't want to say that it doesn't have any kind of use. I don't know if you know anything about me, but I have a weird spirituality, and yeah, alcohol is considered sacred in the religious practice that I use, but I don't drink it very often.
Hallelujah! I'm about to pray.
Right. Hallelujah. But it can't be denied that there is not only medicinal uses for cannabis, but the cannabis it can improve your life just because of improved mood, improved, you let the stress fall off of you a whole lot better than if you were taking alcohol or something like that. It's not a cure-all. People want to make it a cure-all. It's not. It can be helpful. It can be good. It isn't necessarily good. Same thing with any other drug. Every person is an individual and they need what they need. I mean, that's kind of the core to all libertarian ideas, is that the individual should be the judge on what is best for them, and some guy in a lab coat doesn't necessarily know what's going on, but damn sure a guy in a bureaucracy isn't going to know a motherfucking thing about what will help you. So it sounds like to me that you've had a lot of people that are in libertarian circles have had a pretty dark experience. I don't want to be doing the shit that I do. I want to be sitting on my ass and smoking weed and sitting back and talking to God. That's what I want to do. But instead, I've got to go out and do a bunch of dumb shit because they're trying to kill my fucking kids. And so I think that those dark paths that a lot of people that are libertarians go through is part of that journey. We see the shit that is the world. You've seen it in the police department. You've seen it in your personal life. And do you find because for me, I do. Do you find that finding that ethical and philosophical purity, if you will, I hate to use that word, but philosophical, I guess, cleanliness of libertarianism has helped in your journey?
Yes, for sure. Because it like, not to rip up Dave Smith, but like he says, like the most beautiful philosophy, ever devised. And like, I agree with that. Like it really does open up, and it alleviates other stresses, other societal stresses that maybe you wouldn't have had if you weren't a libertarian. Where like, maybe I feel like Democrats, Republicans more so feel like they feel a burden to take care of others. And I don't mean that how it sounded. I don't mean like take care of people in need. I mean like they feel the need to like control and like
nanny people.
Right. And like we know what's best. And then we're like, no, we're actually we don't know what's best. I know what's best for myself. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's the joke of the whole thing. It's like, how the fuck can you tell me when I'm dumb. Like, I don't know what I'm doing for myself, but you know what I'm doing for me? Like, fuck you, dude. Like, you don't know. So
right,
once
Truth.
And there's a difference between saying, hey, you know, have you tried this, or is this going to work for you? And that's a totally different thing than somebody coming in with either a badge or a lab coat or whatever their authority is and saying, I know what's best, here it is. Those are two very different things. You know, I'll accept whatever somebody wants to suggest. I might not try it. You know, if somebody says, hey, you should try meth, I'll be like, maybe not.
Right.
But if it's within reason and it's something that's not been proven to harm me, sure, I'll give it a try if I've got a problem.
Yeah, no,
You know?
I get physically fucking angry when I see all these fucking, especially blue checks on Twitter and shit, or anybody, just even dumb liberal fucking comic friends of mine, just popping their dumb mouths off because they know nothing, because they're actually dumb people. Like, they're actually dumb. Like, they're the dumbest fucking people I know. Like, it's a lot of comics, sorry, but like, it's
a comedic wit doesn't make you like really good at discerning.
Like, no, great, Chad, you fucking thank you. Actually, you said it how I would love to have said it. Like, yes, these people think because they're witty and they're smart on stage, they think they're fucking smart, and it's two separate things. It's like, I got this friend. I won't say his name. Oh, friend, this guy, acquaintance, who let's just say
distancing yourself by the
No,
words.
I'm about to throw somebody under a bus.
Like, here's a friend. Look, I mean, all right. So one time I saw him. I
His name
don't
is
know
Brian.
this guy.
No, I'm kidding. No, like, because the guy used to. He was never a libertarian, but he was never, like, I would say, a liberal, like a Democrat. Because he was always a comic who spoke his mind. It was always kind of anti-woke shit. And then he got engaged to a very progressive chick. And then he just flipped. And I'm just like, whatever, dude. So, like, me and him will go out. So I stopped now because it's not, I realize it's not worth to do this with your friends. It's just not. Or even anybody you work, it's just not worth it.
No, it's
like,
not.
It's because like, even I've tried the talking, and like, I just get with your ideas are dangerous. I went, that's crazy, but like, that's fine. So like, I've gone with him back and forth over some things, and it's like, and I'll be like, yeah, man, you're a better comic than me. Sure. You're wittier than me. Sure. But you're dumb. Like, you're a dumb person. Like, because you think this is like legitimate what you're saying, but it's just commie trash, and you're commie trash now. Like, that's all this is. Like, it's not freedom. Like, you don't care about people. I do. That's the thing that annoys me, is all these fucking because this is the thing. You're like, you shit on Democrats a lot because it's easier and they're worse. Like, they just are worse. Like, as a whole, I'm sorry. But like, the right sucks, but they suck less. They just do. And
they have a few things that they haven't completely lost their minds on yet.
Right,
that's the only thing. That's the only difference.
I understand I'm being vague and I'm painting with a fucking brush here. Obviously, of course I am, but that's how we have to do this. I can't go to every individual Democrat or Republican be like, you're cool, not you. You're okay. Like a shitty duck. Like, the word boring as duck, duck, goose. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, no. So I'm broad brushing here, but like, as a whole, the right doesn't, because they're not so much trying to control you culturally as the left is. And they also want to steal your fucking money.
Right.
So they're trying to control what you say and do, and also give me your fucking money on top of it. So it's like, no, you're double evil. They just are annoying. Like, they're bad with the bombs and shit like that. Am I yelling? I'm getting yelled at for yelling. I'm sorry. Everybody's yelling at me from upstairs, apparently. So it's just like,
I'm surprised I haven't gotten at one of these hotels yet. I'm on the road right now, so it's like
it's just like one of those things. It's like you guys are trying to actively, I feel like, destroy what we founded this country on, and the right is just concerned about, like, who can we bomb next, and where is our money coming from? Like, they're, as in the people in politics, money coming from.
No, I guess that's where, and sorry, this is who I am. I'm going to dig in a little bit. See, one of the things I would disagree about, and I watched your podcast, I think, with Larry Sharp, and there was actually something that I disagreed with, and I disagreed with it.
No.
Yeah, right. But I disagreed with it from both of you, and it's all about messaging. I'm an anarchist. I play in libertarian politics because frankly, it's a good place to get people to start understanding liberty and start understanding, real, freedom-oriented mindset. The Libertarian Party is a really good place to kind of cultivate that. They're never going to win anything, but it's a good thing that they're there so that people kind of have a place to start. So anyhow, when I was watching, one of the things that you guys said is, we're never going to not have a government. My question is, why?
Oh, okay. I say that because I don't think not because I want to see that.
Right.
That's not my place of why I said that. I said that because I don't think you'll ever get 350 million fucking people, even a quarter of that, to agree to that. That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
So to be able to push it to that level, I don't see how that could happen in this country. I just don't see it.
Do you know?
I'm not saying there's not a way. I just don't see the way.
Do you know how many people actively fought in the Revolutionary War in the United States?
It was like what, 1% or something?
3.
Yeah, it was
It was
low.
3%.
Yeah.
Right now, there are millions of anarchists globally, and I would at least put the numbers in the United States to hundreds of thousands.
Sure.
And at this point, we don't really know. I think personally, what we're seeing is the last. Now, this may not be my lifetime. I hope that it is, but I don't know that it is. I think what we're seeing, and I think the argument could be made that this last 100 years has been a backslide. If the people in the late 1800s were in a post, after the Civil War, if the people in this country in the late 1800s were given the technology we have now, we wouldn't have a state because they would have gotten rid of it. And
I agree with that.
Yeah, and what we've seen is a backslide, and I think that what we're seeing in the reaction, both from globally with COVID and sorry if I get us taken down, Chad, but with all this dumb shit, going down, and all the lockdowns and all the shit, I think that they've bit off more than they can chew. And I think that there will be a reaction. And I think that reaction might be very similar to what happened in 1776 when their government locked them down and started putting people in their homes and taking away guns. And so I think that there is a pathway, I think. And I think Adam Kokesh had the right way of getting there, but whether or not it gets there that way or not, I think that it can be done peacefully. I hope that it is done peacefully. I lose hope almost on a daily basis, but I do think that this is about evolution. It is about the mindset of humanity saying, I don't need a master. I'm good. Because we have the technology, we have everything in place, the ethics are there, all of the ideas have been presented. It is really as simple as what Rothbard said. We've got to get people convinced that it's possible. And once people start saying it's possible, it might just happen.
I want to let Adam respond, and then I want to come back with because I have something I want to.
Yeah, because if I don't, my brain trauma cannot let me handle the three thoughts I have in my head right now. Which I'm like, I gotta fire him out. I'm gonna fucking forget.
Hang them on pegs and let's go.
So my devil's advocate is the three things. I don't think people wake up because if there's still so many people not woken up from this last year, I don't know what's gonna do it. So that's my devil's advocate to that. My other two things is as far as like the uprising for the anarchists and such like us, people like-minded like us, is you're two things about that. A, you're asking regular people with good jobs, good families to, hey, you're willing to just throw everything away and go to jail forever because you might lose. Yep. And like, are you willing to do that? You willing to tell your two kids, like, peace, Timmy and Jimmy. Dad's going away to jail or dead. So people are going to look at that and go, I love liberty but I don't want my family to die or lose me. So people that's a whole other obstacle. And then the bigger one, obviously, is we all know the cops aren't your friend. I'll tell you that firsthand, right? Like they are there to do the state's bidding, and as we saw from the lockdowns, right? And that's what was a great half a red pill to the right wing, I guess, because only some of them got it. But when they're like, the cops are our friends, and then the lockdowns happen, they're like, you're arresting me for my business? Like, yeah, bitch. Because they're not there for you. You fucking idiot. They're there for those guys. The state. They're not there for you. So the cops and the military will 100% do their job, and they have better equipment. So now you're asking a fucking bunch of militia dudes, again, to fight drones and fucking tanks and armored
like
cars.
Like they did in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
we
but
we got drones coming too.
Right, we have the better equipment though. easily could have wiped out that whole country if we really wanted. Let's be honest. If we didn't, no, I'm talking about
start
from
killing
pure.
people in Chicago. I bet that you have a bigger uprising.
Wait,
What do you-
no,
They
That's why
can't control the gangs.
I think people are so fucking pussy now in this country. I don't think you do. I don't know what takes it. I don't.
No, I don't think that they're emotional. They're very emotional, and that probably is like why. Well, no, wait. It's a 50-50. I gotta renege.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a 50-50. But no, I genuinely think that like for this whole thing, it's not.
Oh man,
Damn, Nico always freaks.
Not about my brother today, and he came from the military. Has his issues, and I'm talking to him, and like when they're in service, you're not supposed to look at your drill sergeant in the eye. And so he has like a nervous tick where like he doesn't like really look at you during conversation. And I'm like, wow, they do a lot of housebreaking in these kind of institutions. So the humanity aspect on people from the military or from the police force, it very much so depends on if they're woken up by their family opposed to some random, because I'll run outside and go bust off somebody and not care. But it being a family member is a whole different story.
Yeah, man. People think like in the Holocaust camps, like the Nazis who were there, they were like, "Oh man, I don't want to really be here." Like that's not true. Like those guys wanted to be there. Like that was like a consigned, like that was like a prestigious part, like to do that. Like there are monsters out. Like people don't. Like people are like, oh, we're American. It doesn't matter. We have monsters here too that will gladly do that to you. Like it doesn't fucking matter. They'll sign up because those were the camps with literally volunteers. I mean, the people who were there. I mean, the guards who were there were volunteer. Right. They were volunteers. And same thing would happen here. Same exact fucking thing would happen here. It wouldn't be any different. So there would be the American flag on their patch instead.
Yeah. So allow me to offer a little bit of hope, and I think what I think amounts to kind of a path forward for this, because I've seen some stuff there. One of the things that's been frustrating for me and Marcus too, I think, is watching some of the infighting among like libertarians, freedom advocates, anarchists, whatever, where there's this like, why are you going the politics route? And like people like Sally Mayweather, Sally Agorist, whatever. Anyway, and Vin Armani and folks like that, like dumping on the LP Mises Caucus type folks.
Which that's me. I am a
right,
Mises Caucus
exactly.
person.
Well, same here. Yeah. Shout out to Michael Heiss and
nice.
the whole crew out there. But yeah, so pushing back against that, and then on the other hand, like people who are like, no, this is the way that it has to be done, and y'all are just kind of spinning your wheels over there, and you're basically like isolating yourselves, and you're not really part of the. I really think that it's the kind of, I've described this before. Marcus and Nico, forgive me, I'm going to say it again, but this is one of those boss fights in one of these like role playing video games or whatever, where you have, all of the different Power Rangers have to come together. Like it takes all of these things. Like we all have to do what our talents and skills dictate that we do, because that's where we're best. That's where we're most passionate, where we're going to put the most energy and effort into it. And it's also where we actually have skill and talent and ability to actually persuade people. I really think so. Where my hope comes from is I actually think that, number one, it doesn't take that many people, like Marcus intimated, to get that to like a critical mass to where you can actually change shit. And I don't think we're that far away. I actually think that's why what happened the last year and a half happened. That is more of an indication to me of how close we are to victory than it is. I realize the normies doing what they're doing is like frustrating and gets more frustrating by the day. But I also have seen other people. I've seen like my parents were scared. They like turned my mom's sewing machines into like mask making machines and all this other kind of stuff early on. And now they're like, no way I'm getting that shit fucking injected into my body. And like, you know what I mean? Like it's there are some things where like, so what I see this as is this is, to Marcus's point, this is an evolution. Okay. This is an evolutionary process of humanity. And what we are is we are the mutation. And it's our job as the mutation to be as strong and have the survival that like outlasts everything else, because we have to be the fittest that survives, and the mutation actually becomes the adaptation that helps humanity to survive. And I think that the fact that we have this, and you're seeing, I guess, kind of like the rest of humanity kind of fight against it and attack it, is to me like, and with the vigor that they are, because it when it's docile, that's why you see like the shit that they're doing. They haven't even fucking mandated this shit. They haven't even like forced anybody to do this shit yet, and people are just like, okay. When the fact that they're threatening some of the stuff that they're doing, to me is an indicate it's their little trial balloon. It's their test case for how many of these idiots are we going to get to go along with this shit. And so the more of us who resist it, and the more of us who collaborate together and work to fight back against the growing state, the more I think we strengthen ourselves as that mutation to be able to actually be the thing that is, we have the antibodies to the fucking virus that is statism.
Dude, yeah. What was that? He was like a big time Nazi that they caught, and he was on the norm right before they hung him. I forgot his fucking name, but like, no, it wasn't him. If you say it, I might know. But they asked him like, "How'd you fucking get so many people to like force him into Nazism?" He's like, "I didn't force. It's like we didn't force anybody. It's like we used fear. Fear made him turn to Nazism. We didn't fucking make anybody do shit." It's like it was. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but
right.
But and that's a great point. He's like, all we had to do was scare the public to be like, Jews taking over, right? Raise that hand, and you're fucking. That's gonna be a screen cap.
Yeah, right.
Oh shit! Oh, my haters be like, he's a Nazi. Like, I know. It's like,
is that a terrible shirt idea?
Yeah, right. End the wars is a fucking hailing.
Raise the hand in the wars.
Shit, man.
But yeah, that's all they use. All you gotta use is fear, and that's what they did with with this whole thing was fear. Just fear. It's like, hey man, don't. Are you dead? And everyone's like, oh my god, oh yeah, no. It's like, nah.
Yeah,
like I was always like this. I'm sorry not to cut you off, but I was like, I was always like this. Like I was never anti-vax, but I was always like, yeah, I'm gonna get it if I need it. Like if I jam my hand on a rusty nail, I know tetanus exists,
right?
And then I know tetanus shots
comes from. But anyway, that's
another. You know what?
It's from shit. It's from feces. So the way that it became the rusted nail thing is because farmers were like scratching themselves and stuff like that, but they're on a farm where there's like horse shit, cow shit, chicken shit, whatever, and the tetanus actually like lives in the fecal matter. It's kind of like E. coli or something like so if you're like working at a construction site or something like that and nobody shit anywhere around there, you scratch your ankle on a rusty nail, you're not getting fucking tetanus from that.
Well, whatever.
And the shot that they give you won't take effect until after you're fucking dead anyway, if you're gonna die. So it's
okay. Well, whatever. I'm trying to.
I know. I'm fucking with
an example. Wait, am I wrong?
No. I know what you mean.
Dude.
Like it's a.
I was like, I'm not the smartest, but Jesus Christ, give me that fucking off. But you know my point. It's like you get something because you know, like we don't have polio, I believe, for a reason, right? Like FDR had polio, like so for also I never seen another sickness in the world where the government was like, hey man, you should get this. We'll also give you Hulu for free. It's like, what?
Yeah, no shit. Right. That's the thing that like really trips me out. And well, no, it's not. It's less that. It's the we'll give you a free shot if you get. We'll give you free McDonald's. We'll give you free Krispy Kreme. We'll give you like free Red Robin or whatever. Yeah, like hamburgers, French fries, fucking donuts. It's like, so where's the? And then they're doing a lottery. Louisiana's giving away $1 million. They're giving like $10,000 a week or something like that, and then $1 million grand prize and all this shit. Yeah.
Wow, great tax dollars. Yeah, it's like, I want to be like, I remember reading obesity is not good for this, but I feel like McDonald's is
And that's
Right.
my point. Is I made
Yeah.
that point on Twitter like weeks back. Whenever the Louisiana, announced the lottery, I was like, "Hey, y'all, remember when they did the take vitamin C, get sunlight,
Right.
exercise, and eat fruits and vegetables $1 million lottery?" Oh yeah, me too. I remember that.
Well, dude, well, that's like it's like fat is okay. It's like, yeah, if you want to be fat, sure, it's okay, but like it's not. It's like it's not healthy. Like, don't fucking.
Right.
I'm not. So like this is okay. So first-hand experience. When I was younger, grew up playing football, did MMA. I went from a fucking ripped 205. I'm 6 foot, so I went from like a ripped 205 playing football, fighting at light heavyweight. And then as soon as I stopped playing football and I started getting hurt, like all the head stuff again, more for the car accidents, I was like, oh, fuck it, food. And I got mad fat. So I went from a ripped 205 to a fat 266.
Ew.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was the only appropriate word, actually. To the no muscle 160 pounds you see in front of you today. Because I
60? Are you serious? You lost
Yeah,
100 pounds?
Yeah, I'm 160.
God damn.
I lost 166 pounds, whatever.
Wow. Oh yeah. Okay.
But I also didn't work out. I just intermittent fasted and I just ate better.
Wow.
But
That's
yeah,
my
so,
method
like-
I'm trying to.
yeah, it works. But like my point is, like, from when I was ripped and in shape working out all the time, even from right now when I'm not fat, I feel great. You know what I'm saying? Like those 5 years of my fucking, I call them my fat years, those 5 fat years I had, dude, I felt worse. Plus the head stuff on top of that. Like, you feel like physical shit. So like all these people out there are like, fat's beautiful. I'm like, yeah, it's a preference, sure, but like it's not. Don't fucking sit here and be like
It's not
okay.
healthy.
It's not healthy.
Yeah, it's not
fucking
healthy.
bullshit.
That's for
It's
damn
not
sure.
healthy.
Yeah.
It's not healthy at all. Like,
Right.
We applaud
Yeah.
for the wrong reasons, absolutely. So, like, yeah,
For
you
sure.
can be fat, but you
Ask-
can kill yourself.
Dude, they
Yeah,
tell
ask a
me-
life insurance company if fat is healthy.
my dad
Right.
works for an insurance company. He'll tell you it's not.
Right.
Right.
I want to return real quick to something that you were talking about earlier, Adam. You were talking about the fear is the cause of all this, and absolutely that's true. And I think that John Lennon said it. And this isn't gonna be a quote; it's gonna be a paraphrase. But
He said, "What's that guy with that gun doing?"
right, no, but
God damn.
yeah,
Fucking
right.
comedians. God.
right. I know, but when
That's why I started the show off dark, just because I figured I hit you right where you in your sweet
My
spot.
fucking wheelhouse, dude. I
Right,
tone it down
exactly.
on stage sometimes. Like I scale it back. People fucking get pissed.
Oh my God.
no.
Anyway, go ahead with the John Lennon quote, Marcus.
Well, it's
Sorry.
like I said, it's a paraphrase. He basically said that talking about these kinds of ideas, that how you confuse the government, this is my words, not his, but it's based on what he's saying, is they understand violence. They don't understand love. They don't understand people that are standing up against those kinds of ideas, not using violence, not using force, not using their tools. And it comes back to a Mises quote. It said that we will never win, freedom will never be won by adopting authoritarian means. It will be won by a public that is 100 something like devoted to liberty, 100% devoted to liberty, or something like that. And that's the truth. And what our message has been to turn that hate and that fear and that violence of the state into what we want. We want love, compassion, and happiness. So if given the choice, if people start actually seeing, this is why we're seeing all the censorship, if they start actually seeing us for who we are, if they start seeing, that Marcus guy, he's a little crazy, got some weird ideas, but you know what? He loves his family. Yeah, exactly. We're all crazy. He loves his family. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
He takes care of his community. He preaches love, for God's sake. And he talks about cooperation instead of coercion. Which is more popular? Which is more easier? I get the point that yes, the government can put guns on people's heads and make them do things. That's absolutely true, and they have throughout history. John Locke taught that the only thing that brings us into seditious commotion is oppression. The more they do this, the more we rebel, and how we rebel is by loving each other, building our communities, and standing by each other. Whether or not, Adam, you and I wind up disagreeing down the road, and I don't think we actually disagree on very many things. But no matter what, we're allies. I will stand in that trench next to you while you're telling a joke, and I will be a philosopher right beside you, because that's who I am. That's the tools that I
I
possess.
guess me and Nico gonna have to shoot everybody because, damn, like y'all gonna be fucking telling jokes and philosophizing.
Hey, I'm a stand-up philosopher. You guys ever see History of the
Stand-up
World?
philosopher. There you go.
A bullshit artist.
And I'm gonna set traps, and I'm gonna use guerrilla warfare. Y'all can miss me with that shit.
That is a good thing. I say
setting traps,
at least
there
I
you
took away from the NYPD is I learned a lot of like tactical shit. Like I could like clear houses by myself, clear rooms by myself. You know, with the guns. Can't own a gun because I live in PA and I have a weed card, and they won't let me own a gun. God. But if I did have a gun, I would be able to clean it.
You can be drunk. You can be drunk and walking around with a gun.
Crazy.
You know what's crazy?
Oh shit.
So Adam,
Nico said, "You know what's crazy?" And then he went frozen. It's completely frozen.
Wow, I hate this shit. No, I was saying it's like it's not the fact you have multiple concussions. It's because you smoke weed.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I know. I have violent tendencies, like for sure. Like, I definitely shouldn't have a gun for that.
My brain injuries, but because I like to smoke a little weed.
It's actually funny. My old NYPD police card, it says no guns on it because they took my gun because I had brain trauma. And they were like, no.
They give you a wooden gun. They give you a wooden gun.
Right. So before Marcus, because I know Marcus is going somewhere, but before he goes there, I have to ask this question because I don't know the answer. But is there any documented case of someone high from smoking weed who shot someone?
I guarantee if there is, it was an accident. Like you're like, oh no, fucking bro.
It sounds like the most retarded fucking law you could possibly have. Because
like,
I don't know of anybody who's like, yeah, this dude was stoned out of his mind.
Dude,
he was sitting there.
No, you know what it probably was, dude? It was probably a fucking self-inflicted gunshot wound because you know it was a fucking Pringles can. He was like, is this fucking Pringles can empty?
These Funyuns taste hot. Oh shit.
You know, my fucking hot Cheeto tastes like hot copper. It's so weird. It's like, yeah, you shot yourself in the mouth, idiot. You fucking arpudge wired yourself.
Who was the person we were talking to, Marcus, that one time that said that his friend had said something about like where he was like he was high and his friend said something about him fucking his sister or something like that. And he's like, bro, you're fucking up my high. And that was all he said.
I don't remember.
Nobody fought or anything. It was just like, bro, you're fucking up my high.
I'll tell you, I spent 8 years in the NYPD. I've never gotten into a fight with a high guy before. That's 100% true. It was always
get off the couch.
Drunk guys or guys on meth. That was the only people we fought.
Hey, wait, those guys on meth, how strong were they?
Yo, okay, I got a story for you. All right, so one morning, I worked midnights, which is I loved it. It was fucking great. If you can't have a nonsense job like me and do comedy for a living, and like and you could have a chance to do nights, you should do it. Like whatever job you do, it's because no one's around, and like whoever works with you is usually pretty cool, and you can fuck with them,
right?
Like because they also think like you, and like so like we like midnights because like so the precinct we worked at, we were on Staten Island. There's only 4 precincts on Staten Island, and on the second floor of our precinct was like the borough of Staten Island's. So they were like the main command of Staten Island. So we had like all the chiefs and shit too on top of so it sucked. If you were there during the day, it sucked.
Right.
Midnight though, no one wants to be there past like 5. So everyone's fucking out. So we would hang out, rock around, dick around. Like, dude, I'll get to the PCP thing, but I just want to tell you like how much fun we did used to have. Like we used to go down to the beach sometimes, like the 4 or 5 or 6 of us who were really tight, and we would have baton wars with each other. So we had the riot shields, nice. And we had the long batons. We would fucking night fight in a fucking iron circle of police cars. It was sick. It was so much fun.
Did a gang ever come and like try to break it up and say like, "Hey, listen, none of that shit here. Not on our turf."
All right, I gotta jump in here, man, with a story because the story you just told reminded me of it. Okay, me and my buddies when we were like 20, right? And I'm 46, so it's been a minute ago. We used to go into Walmart and we were some hellions. We used to go into Walmart and like put like the fake armor that you have, that like they had like knight armor and helmets and all this kind of shit, and we'd get like a sled as a shield, and we'd beat the fuck. Yeah, we'd beat the fuck out of each other in the middle of Walmart. One of the best nights ever. We're busy just destroying the
That's
toys.
like jackass shit right there.
Right. Yeah. So we're destroying this fucking aisle in Walmart, and not one, two of the fucking Walmart employees came through the aisle, threw a hat on, and beat the fuck out of each other with us. It was the greatest night ever.
Yeah, it's fucking Walmart. They get it.
Right.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So
to your point.
So we're like wrapping up the morning, and notoriously day tours were fucking a bunch of trash people. Like they fucking sucked. Like they would never show up on time. Like they would never come out on time. Like they would just hang out, get coffee. They were just fucking prima donnas, right? So it was like 7:30. We should already be back already, and they were like, we have a person stalking a woman. So what happened was this woman, she was a nurse. She worked at a methadone clinic, and this guy followed her home. And he not only did he follow her home, he followed her into her house that she lived with her parents and laid on her couch.
What?
Wow.
Wait, do we not lock doors? How does this happen?
No. In other words, she was literally following her, like behind her, like physically behind her, and just like walked in with her. Like she was so scared.
Right.
She was too afraid to call the cops. Like she was like literally like if someone was in front of me, and he was like, and then so when she got home, I think her dad called, obviously. And the dude's laying there. And again, I didn't have my normal partner. Every time I got hurt or something happened, my normal partner wasn't with me. Crazy. It was this guy, Lucas.
Ashton Kutcher is backstage somewhere being like, watch this shit.
Yeah, right? I'm getting constantly punked. And we show up, and the girl's outside, and she's like, hey, she tells the story I just told you guys. We're like, all right, cool. So he's going to jail. That's crazy. Right. And as we're walking up the stairs, we hear the guy. By the way, he doesn't even know we're there, which is why this is funny, because he does not know we're there. He doesn't know they call the cops. He just is outwardly saying this. He goes, I'll punch the fucking first cop that walks through this door. And I was like, that's hilarious. And we walked through the door, and he punched the dude right in the face. That was when I was like, well, that's the Don. And again, I know how to fight. I'm MMA shit, right? So I just kind of double leg him, take him into the couch, and I'm posturing up on him and trying to like cuff him, but he's like impossibly strong. Impossibly strong. And he was
like a little kid that doesn't want to go to bed or eat their dinner.
You know when little kids do Jello arms and you can't? It was like that, but ample, but fighting Jello arms, right? So now, and I was in shape. I was in shape.
Like a Hulk octopus.
Yes. Yeah, it was like the octopus with the infinity gauntlets, but in all 8 arms. Like that's what it was. And so he's sitting there, and I'm like,
we're giving you some good material as you go forward.
And I'm in shape, so I'm like, I'll just turn around and cuff him, and I'm like, all right, eventually I'll get it. I'll get wrist control eventually. I'm not, and now he's like. Swinging at me, I'm like, oh my god, this guy hit me. I can't get out. He's like, there's one point in a fight when you're a cop where like all that shit goes to the window. You're like, I'm a dude. Fuck this shit. Right. Like, I can't let this guy beat me up. Like, fuck, it's crazy. So,
right.
Like, it's your man card gets pulled by the guy.
Up, a lot of cop fights are like these guys being like, fuck this, I'm a guy. Like so. The guy I was with was a tall, lanky dude who he was not he didn't know what to do. So he's just kind of getting in the way at this point. He also just got decked, so he's like kind of out of it. And he doesn't know what to do. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. And I just start unloading on this guy, like full uncontested blows. And again, I'm like, if any MMA fans out there, I'm in full mount on this guy on a couch. So I'm like above his hips.
Yeah.
And I have one hand on his shoulder. And I'm just like, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, give me your fucking hands. And he's still fighting me. And I'm like, God damn it.
Would you please give up?
Boom, boom. And I'm like, now I'm like, all right, elbow. And I'm raining down elbows on this guy. And he's still just fucking grabbing my throat. He was like going for my gun at one point, like crazy shit. Finally, I think the blows got to him and he turned over on his stomach and tried to cover up. And I was like, if Herb Dean was here, we would have stopped this fight already. I'm telling you that right now. You're not defending yourself. I'm owning you right now. And then finally, then I was able to get his hands and cuff him. But the dude still got up.
Where were you on the weight sliding scale at this point?
I was still like 205. I was still
okay.
Like
So you're still in good shape. Okay.
I was still playing football at this time. I think.
You're playing football. Okay.
I still think I was still playing football. I stopped playing football at 25, and So I think I just stopped playing, or was still about to end playing. And the guy was small, dude. Guy gets up, still talking shit, like fucking still trying to fight us. Like it was crazy. We had to call ESU, which is the SWAT team, to come down and put him in the taco shell thing, which is like this bag, because he was still like fighting. It was it was. Anyway, we took him to the hospital. Turns out I collapsed his eye socket.
Oh my goodness!
And he still fought through all of that.
Wow.
Oh my gosh!
No, the drug didn't wear off.
Right. It wore off at the hospital, and he was in severe pain.
Yeah.
Right.
One
of the best things I've seen on Twitter in the last couple of weeks, when all that stuff was going down with girl getting kicked out of the Olympics for weed. There was a meme going around that said, let's let them all do all the drugs. Let's make them all legal for it and see how fast these bitches can run. That's the kind of shit we should have.
I don't know that weed makes you run faster, though.
No, weed does. I was talking about does.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I know.
What I'm saying is, let them have whatever the fuck they want. We want to see some entertaining fucking Olympics that I'd watch again. Fucking let them do all the drugs they want. Fucking get them out there beating the fuck out of each other.
If you let meth heads compete in Olympics, they'd break records in weightlifting.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. And it would be like 145-pound dude doing it too.
Easily, shirtless with one arm. His neck with the other arm. Like there's no. It's crazy how strong that guy was.
And
like he was like
50.
And even though I was on top of him and heavier than he was, like, he was still like with his free arm, like rocking me around decently. Where I was like, "What the fuck? Is this the strongest man in the world?" I was like, "What's happening right now?" I'm a trained fighter, and this guy's a fucking crackhead. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, you should have paid attention to all the.
But like, that's the thing is like, you never want to fight, especially like, on that again. Like, I was trying to place like how I felt politically, and like, you don't want to fight people, but like some people really do not give you an option. I know some libertarians want to hear that. It's the fucking truth. It is what it is. Some people just come at you swinging. Like, you just walk into it, like, hey, and you're like, you're like, what? Like, it's just that quick. Like, the domestics are the worst. Like, not to make this a fucking old police podcast, but like, it all plays into like, I don't trust anybody. You know what I'm saying? And that plays into like political shit too. Like, I don't trust fucking anybody. Because like I'm so used to literally everyone lying to me all the time. Like, I don't trust any, like, even people who called you who were right were lying to you somehow.
Right.
You're like, why are you lying? Like, be honest.
Yeah, no. Well, but isn't that too though? Because I've experienced this. Like, you get in a situation where like now the authorities are involved, and it's just like, oh fuck. Well, wait, because everybody has been through this moment. Raise your hand while you're watching this podcast if you've ever been in this situation. You're driving down the interstate, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you didn't know they were even there, but pulling up alongside you and passing you is a cop. What's the first thing you do? Doesn't matter how fucking fast you're going. You let your foot off the gas.
Yeah, of course.
You might even put your foot on the brake a little bit. You kill the cruise control, whatever. You don't know how fast you were going, but it's probably fast enough to get you a ticket. And so that like that same sort of survival instinct. Because it was funny, we were talking about this. I was in a little clubhouse room before dinner or earlier tonight, and people were talking about like the whole fear construct and how like these systems have been like our ancestors have been like indoctrinated with this fear mindset. That we already like hand over so much of our own sovereignty to other people out of fear because we are indoctrinated to, and it makes its way down through to where like when you're raised with your parents and everything, you're taught like, unless you have some really like good ass like anarchist fucking parents who are like, hey, look, trust yourself. ask questions until you're satisfied with the answer and make people explain shit to you. Most parents are like, because I said so, goddammit. That's why. And that kind of shit makes its way all the way up to where, yes, people who are right will lie to you because they don't know what they have to hide from you. Because you might fucking bust them on some shit that is fucking retarded and is completely innocent, and now they're in jail, or they get their kids taken away from them, or whatever the fuck the case may be.
I mean, you're right. Listen, this is at the time I'm talking, from perspective. I was like, obviously, I was like, why are you lying? Like, why are you lying? No, but now I tell everyone, like, run away from the cop. Like, if you're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't talk to them. Like, if they're like, how's it going? But like, fine. Just keep going. Like, don't, because like they're not. And it's a bummer because I still have some friends who are on the job and stuff who I kind of talk to, and they're guys who think like me, and they're like, they don't fuck around with weed. They don't, as in like, busting balls. They kind of try to do the main felony shit, like, property and violence,
stealing
stuff,
shit and hurting people. Yeah,
which is, again, we all agree that should be illegal. We all agree, but yeah, it's just I hate, and like I also hate authority so much. Even when, like, we had this one sergeant who was this 4'5" nothing guy, and he had that Napoleon complex. Yeah, he had a Napoleon complex, and he was such a fucking cunt. Like, it's the perfect way to describe him. And like, you want to be like, you're only talking to me like this because your shield's gold and mine's silver. If we were in the street, even if I didn't know MMA,
a dick the size of a clitoris,
right? I would put you through a fucking wall, dude. I would kill you. But you get to actually literally look up at me and talk to me like that,
right?
Because you took a test that I didn't want to study for, so I didn't take it. Like, that's where we are right now. You're retarded. Like, you don't know what you're talking about still. Like,
I feel like you're back talking to your comic friends again. Like,
the manager stickers hold a lot of power, man.
Look, yeah.
Also, to go back to the authoritarian, like, Chad, what you were saying about how, like, your parents. I'm sure you guys know this, but for anybody that's like, where our school system is set up from, is set up for the Austrian school model, which was literally like, look up to the person in front of the room as the authority figure. Don't question it. Just do as they say. That's how school is. It's literally like, this is the authority. Don't question. If you question it, you go see more authority. It's a terrible, terrible fucking model. That's why we should public school all our kids. But like, so we're literally ingrained in that since 5.
Yeah.
So even if your parents aren't like that, if they send you to public or even private school, let's be honest.
No, that's what I said a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about this last week. If you went to public or private school, you got that same bullshit, and it got misinterpreted. Some people thought that I was talking about, like, if you learn math, it's fucking bullshit. Like, no, that's not what I'm fucking talking about. I'm talking about the
math bullshit. You don't have to know anything other than simple addition and subtraction.
I do math.
And
no,
multiplication and division. I don't.
I do math for a living. But I will say this. What you definitely did learn, and I made this point. I'm going to make it again. I don't care. But I made this point last week. And I shared a video with our guest from last week, Devin Perkins, Trenchwork Chronicles. Shout out to Devin, and shout out to the Solutionary Summit and Maj and all them. But we built this educational system off of a model that was designed by the fathers of the Industrial Revolution, because what they wanted was people smart enough to build their hierarchy of, like, management through the rank and file, to run their factories effectively enough until they can get robots to do it for them, where we automate people out of the workforce routinely now. But originally it was designed to make you smart enough to do the shit that they wanted done effectively, but not smart enough or skilled enough and confident enough and understanding how to own yourself and own shit enough to challenge them. You obeyed, you stood in line, you waited your turn, you did what you were told, you bought into the team concept of, and I don't have a problem with, like, team sports to a certain degree and, like, working together to, like, fulfill a common goal. But there's a lot of this shit that comes from, like, an authoritarian standpoint where you don't really get to reap the rewards of that shit. You just fucking punch a clock, go do what you're told, and then punch that clock and go home. And the people who are getting rich off of that shit are the people who designed that system. And so the educational system was designed to feed that pipeline with little, dull, obedient, complicit people.
That's what
who were just
is.
smart enough to do that.
That's what high school football is, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, yeah, you're right.
You have this coach who's an authoritative figure who he's getting paid.
Right.
I'm not getting paid. I'm not really reaping it. I mean, I did get like, you know, whatever offer, and you know, I played semi-pro and stuff like that. But like I have irreversible
safety, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I played safety for full contact for all my years, and then when I started doing like just two-hand touch and flag leagues, I played safety and quarterback because I always liked to throw, but I was never tall enough or really good enough to play a real quarterback. So, but I could fucking play, you know, I could play quarterback in a two-hand touch league all day. They don't even rush you all day in the pocket. It's fucking just slinging
passing lanes for days.
Yeah. But I always say this: like, I played fucking football for 12 fucking years, and I've made $1,200. Like all these concussions, you know, all this shit for literally nothing. Like if you don't make it to the NFL, you wasted brain trauma. That's all. It's the truth. And then when you look at the stats of the NFL, college, I mean, you guys know the percentage of D1 football players that get in the NFL?
It's like 0.1%.
Less than 4%.
Yeah. Oh, is it that many? Okay, I thought it was less than 1%.
No, it's less
but yeah,
than 4%.
I know it's a small percentage. Yeah.
But if you look at D1 division football play, like the number, it's like thousands.
Right.
So less than 4. So let's say 3.5 of thousands. I mean, like tens of thousands. It's crazy low.
It's a minuscule amount.
So like, if you look at all those D1 schools like Michigan, whatever, there's 100 kids on the sideline. 6 of those guys get drafted.
Right. Yep.
Now you have brain trauma. See you later, dickhead.
Wow. Yeah.
But who makes money off it? The school.
The school makes a fuck
The
ton.
head coach, the state, because it's a state school usually. The highest. And
if your coach buys you lunch one day at Burger King, you lose your scholarship.
Not anymore,
and
though.
The coach gets fired. Well, no, not anymore. Well, yeah, you can do it.
Did you
It's a
see
little
the
bit different now.
quarterback from Alabama is already in like 6 or 7 figures already?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which is great. So that's good for them.
Great.
That was always bullshit.
Yeah,
But again, that's why I hate the NCAA, because it was like the authoritative, right? Like hierarchy was like we literally are prospering off of all the students, athletes' work. Yeah, all that shit. It's all that evil. It doesn't matter if they're private or not. It's still evil. It's an evil way to do it.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm glad that all shit got reversed.
Nice. So I do want to kind of shift gears for a kind of a last segment. One of the things that we haven't really talked about to a large extent is how you got involved with the Mises Caucus.
Yeah, I was about to say that's where I wanted to go too. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, for me, I've never been officially a member of the Mises Caucus. Josh Smith and I are friends, and I've kind of peripheral, been around the Mises Caucus a lot. But if the Libertarian Party is ever going to get me to participate in their reindeer games again, it will likely be after a Mises Caucus takeover. So I'd like to hear your story.
I'll drink to that.
So drink. So obviously, I am Mises for sure, Caucus. When I guess for the same reason as a lot of other people, I was a registered libertarian, because fuck the right, fuck the left, right? And that was obviously the party of my belief system, supposedly. You know, philosophy wise, it was.
But you start to meet some of the people who were running it, right?
And then you're like, are you a progressive Democrat? What? Right. Are you a socialist?
Are you a neocon?
Like, or I was gonna say, or are you a neocon? Because it's only those other two I meet. Yeah. It's either one way, like far one way. You know, it's. But no, I was like, oh, I first heard Dave Smith start talking about it. And I was like, what's the Mises thing? This guy, and then I started looking into it. I was like, oh, this is exactly what the fuck I care about. All of these things. Fucking liberty, individual choices, fucking fuck the state, fuck the Fed. You know, too much police presence, too much all this shit. And again, coming from a police background, like I agree. So I was like, oh, all right. And then once you start to realize, like, oh, there's people actively trying to take this down. And then just from my life experience, knowing that people doing that are usually the bad guys. So, you know, anytime one group tries to silence another group, that group is usually the bad guys in the
Right.
story. I get so I was already obviously leaning towards Mises, and then but once you start to going back 2 years now, whatever the fuck it was, but once you start seeing all the attacks, you're like, all right, clearly this is right. This is the right way to go. This is honest. And then once you start to hear all and it's the same bullshit attacks the left does, right? Racist, transphobe, homophobe. It's like, shut the. And then again, you look on our side. So I was at the PA State Convention, and the tent was pretty divided. One half was Mises, one half was not. The half that wasn't got up on the microphone at least twice, 3 different times, I want to say, at the convention, looked over to our side and said, well, there's some caucuses that are homophobic and misogynistic that are trying to ruin the party. And then I looked over at our side and I was like, wow, a lot of black and Hispanic women we have here. And then I looked over on their side. I was like, wow, a lot of angry white dudes you guys have.
Yep.
That sounds like projection to me.
Yep.
I don't know. So like, I'm sick of that bullshit. You know, I'm pretty openly. I've been saying on my podcast. Which, by the way, guys, go listen to Porcupine. Download that shit.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been pretty openly against that, against people. And again, I know I sound like a dead, fucking beating a record here, a beating dead horse here, a broken record. But like, I said,
beat records too. I mean, what's the
beating record? That's a new idiom.
It's the Olympics. The Olympics are coming up. There are going to be a lot of records beaten.
But we have a lot of keyboard warriors. Yeah, we have a lot of keyboard warriors in the Libertarian Party, and I don't play that game. Because I come from Staten Island where I grew up, and if you talk shit, that's a fight.
Yeah.
There's no like running to your parents that's like, oh, you call me whatever, insert whatever insult. It's like, okay, we're fighting now. And like, I guess we're fighting now. Like that's how I grew up. And like, I'm a man, I'm an adult man, you know, and like you're an adult man in this scenario, hypothetical.
It was Owen Benjamin's thing that he always said. He's like, say it to my face. That's what he would tell people on Twitter. So no, for sure. Because it's like,
he's right. They won't.
You wouldn't say that shit to my face because you don't know if I'll knock your fucking head off for it or not. You know?
I've been saying that when I see people in person times. I'm like, hey man, you talk a lot of shit online. What's up? And like, oh, it's a lot of this, a lot of a lot of not looking at my eyes like a coward, because that's what they are. They're fucking cowards.
Right.
I saw an interaction today where apparently Josh and Hotep Jesus, I think, went on. Oh no. So, I don't remember. I didn't see the episode, but I saw like some stuff that came after it. Anyway, apparently Josh and somebody else went on Fakertarians, and Nick Ashley. People couldn't figure out. They kept confusing Maj Toure and our friend Hotep Jesus. Well, we're friends with both Maj and Hotep Jesus, but they couldn't distinguish between the two of them. And so my thing was like, Fakertarians, you know, y'all are all, everybody who disagrees with us is a bigot. And I was like, also Fakertarians, I can't remember which black guy you are. Are you, you know, y'all all look alike. Like,
dude, Chad, it's I'm telling you, it's all projection. All of it. Everything they say about us is they literally are. Literally are. It's psychotic. I'm also the Bucks County from PA board rep. So I'm like, so I'm involved in all the state board meetings. The last 3 meetings were 4 hours because they're just arguments. And it's bullshit. Like they're trying to, like they just wanted to start a special convention. And why do they want to start a special convention in Pennsylvania? Yeah. Now, their thing is to change the bylaws. We can do that in the fucking meetings, dickheads. We don't fucking need a special convention for that. You fucking liars. And like, everybody's mass resigning because why? Because we're wrong. So you're all resigning because we're wrong and we're in the wrong. Get the fuck out of here. You know, I'm just sick of this shit. I'm just sick of the lies. I'm sick of us trying to actually spread and advocate for liberty and justice and fucking end the lockdowns and the Fed and the wars and the fucking police brutality and the fucking riots and all this shit. And then these motherfuckers want to sit in their positions of power and play social club bullshit instead of actually move out of the fucking way and let the big boys and girls get shit done. And I'm fucking over it.
But that's because Konkin was right. And the Mises Caucus is fucking it all up. And that is, Konkin said that the Libertarian Party, the purpose of the Libertarian Party is for freedom activists to go and do nothing.
Feel good about themselves.
Yeah, to just spin wheels and not actually get anything done because it takes a bunch of fucking time. You just said it. You're sitting in a 4-hour meeting about some dumb shit and you're busy arguing instead of, strapping on some fucking boots and actually getting out and feeding the fucking homeless and doing shit for people, going to a goddamn protest and bringing attention to shit. Instead of doing that, you just sit in the room.
Gun training and stuff so you can be ready for the fucking shit that's coming.
Right. They want you, the Libertarian Party, as it stands now. Now, my hero, one of my heroes, is Murray Rothbard, who was absolutely fucking instrumental in the formation of the Libertarian Party and its growth through the 80s. Absolutely instrumental. But the facts remain that I would say every bit of at least 50% of the people in the Libertarian Party are doing fucking nothing. And I know this because, and Chad was involved in this too, we did a little poll for a friend of ours at the beginning, and I interviewed, I'd say out of 10 people that I interviewed in that, and I interviewed probably 100. I don't remember how many it was, but I interviewed a bunch of people. And out of them, I would say 1 in 10 actually knew what the fuck they were talking about. They had no idea what the hell libertarianism was. They have no idea what it means, what in the Fed means. They have no idea because they are just
one of them was a former chairman's husband.
I know. and when it comes to standing up, you're absolutely right. These people will back down every fucking time. They do to my face because I walked right up to Nick Sarwark and bitched him out. I do not give a fuck. I am going to tell you what I think. I'm going to tell you what I think when I think it. It does not matter who the hell you are. And those people cannot stand against that. They can't.
No, man. What did Sarwark say to you when you confronted him? Because I asked that for a reason.
Yeah, he tried to turn it around.
A ball of fucking mercury.
He tried to turn it around on me because what I directly challenged him on was that he was in the talking to a room that he thought was going to be all fucking regular pragmatics, and I don't have anything against pragmatics, but he thought he was going to be talking to a room full of pragmatics, and he was busy just trouncing on Vermin Supreme. And he turned it around, was going to trounce on Adam, and I know that he was going to do it because he goes, people like Vermin Supreme, and he saw me because he knows who I am. He saw me and was like, and shut down, and
he's a massive fucking cunt. That's why.
And so I went right up to him because his whole message was that we need to come together when this is over and stop, the division. We need to vote for whoever the person.
He can shit all over everybody who doesn't suck his balls. That's what he means.
And I went right up to him and I said, Nick, I'll tell you what. I said, number one, the first thing I'm not going to do if Adam wins the nomination is I'm not going to tear down other candidates. I'm not going to sit and spend 10 minutes talking about how awful Vermin Supreme is to a group of people that are supposed to be coming together for the same purpose. And he was like, well, it's not like you're ever going to win. And I said, really? I said, we'll place. Guess what? We placed. Adam was in the first round. He made it to the first round. So, the guy basically tried to turn it around on me, because I'm in a room full of people, and he tried to make it to where he's
embarrassing or something. Yeah.
Right. And he failed. So he just walked away. So that's the full story of what transpired.
Yeah, him and I have gone back and forth on Twitter a little bit, and he's there at the PA State Convention, and I was like, do I go up and start a scene or do I behave? And because I know myself, and again, I have a temper, and if I go up and do say that shit again, dude, say it right now to my fucking face, and he'll say some lawyery shit.
That's
what he lives for. And I'm like, again, because I'm like, all that other shit goes to the window, and my man shit comes out. Like, now I gotta fucking fight you. I'm like, no, I'm like, I'll let it go.
He won't fight you. He'll just call the cops on you.
No, that's my point.
Like that, yeah.
Of course he is. Dude, they all are. They all fucking are.
Well, so to what Marcus was saying though about it, I do think that to a certain degree the LP has been. And I think that's where Marcus was going, is that if Mises Caucus actually is successful in doing what they're trying to do, to to like wake people up and bring people in who like want to actually get the shit done that we're trying to accomplish and like free people instead of just fucking twiddling their thumbs and jerking each other off in like the closets of like fucking, you know, caucus rooms or whatever and all this other bullshit. What it turns into is, instead of, because I made this analogy the other day, Ken Thoreau posted something like, what happens if Fauci is like, if they, you know, if he's really done, if it's really like, that's it for him. And I was like, nothing. This is all fucking theater.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, even if like some people think he's the, you know, the conductor, the orchestra leader of this whole fucking thing, that like basically they created this shit and it all like took off and did what it's doing. All it means, it doesn't mean that like all of a sudden we get to go back to our normal lives. It just means that like he gets pushed to the side as a fall guy and they still have all the ammunition they need to continue to control people. That doesn't change that part. Right. So this is all fucking theater for people to like post shit on Twitter and Facebook and everything and think that they're like helping to save the world, and it's just consuming energy and time while nothing fucking happens.
People don't understand. It's never the guy they're showing you that's the guy who's the mastermind behind it. That's actually the one real thing that breaks any super. And I'm a big fucking nerd, like with comic books, right? But that's the one thing that really breaks anything to make superheroes real or not, is supervillains wouldn't show themselves.
Yeah.
Right. Like Dr. Doom would never be like, I'm here. He'd be like, yo, you go do it. And I'm like, you know, like,
exactly.
you would never know who Dr. Doom was. He'd just be a dude in fucking wherever the fuck his country. I can't think of the goddamn name of it right now. My nerd brain's broken. No, that's a real place. It's something with L, like Liechtenstein's also a real place, but it's fucking goddamn it.
It's like Latavia or something
like
that.
Right. It's like Latvia, but not. It's like close to that.
Yeah.
But he'd just be there on a rock, be like, I'm bored because no one knows who I am. Like, that's how real shit gets done. That's how real supervillainy gets done behind closed doors. Like, all these guys who set up these fucking evil plans, like, they die before they even go into motion. Like, they're set up before they even, like, years and years and years and years in advance.
Yeah. That's why I was saying this stuff about like our ancestors have been indoctrinated with this stuff, because the people who started all this shit in motion, like you go back and read like Bill Cooper's book, Behold a Pale Horse, and it's like that shit. This is families that have been around for centuries that are kind of pulling strings and shit.
One of the Rockefellers get like the 6th transplanted heart? Like that man is still kicking and pushing.
Yeah, like, and what's funny is too, there's a lot of like this predictive programming shit. And I don't know how far we're going to get possibly banned from YouTube, but anyway, I don't give a fuck. I have a couple of glasses of wine in me. Anyway, no, do you remember that series that they had? It was on like FX or something, where it was like these vampires and shit, and it was like this whole vampire. It was like before Walking Dead or around the same time as Walking Dead. No, not True Blood. It was after that.
True Blood, by the way.
No, the first 3 seasons of True Blood were good, and then that show was fucking straight trash. But
yeah, it was. No, for sure. It was all shot in Louisiana. Shout out to Louisiana. That's my hometown, my home state. Anyway, no, but this one was, I can't remember. It was one of the guys in it was the guy from the first season of House of Cards, who was like a senator
Kevin
or something
Spacey?
like that, or governor. No, not Kevin Spacey. No, it was like one of the lower rent actors. But also, what's his face? The guy from
wait a minute, was this that shitty CW show?
No, it wasn't on
not
CW.
Vampire
It was
Diaries.
better than that. It was better than that. Anyway, the point is, they had these fucking vampires that were like centuries old, and they were like they would bring people to them, and they would like these people were like, they would go and they would have these big board meetings. They were like super wealthy.
Underworld?
No, it's not fucking Underworld. It's not a movie. It's a series. Anyway,
sorry.
I'll have to look it up. But anyway, my point is, these people are like centuries old, and they're like drinking people's blood. And they bring people to them, and they're like, and they have like these big blood parties and everything, shit. Like, I mean, yeah, similar to like Blade or Underworld, where you have these like, you know, vampires that have been living forever. But anyway, my point is, this shit has been going on for a long fucking time, and it's not like what you were saying, Adam. Like, it's not like this. These things are just some like whimsical fucking idea that just somebody came up with yesterday or something. Like a lot of this stuff is the plan is there, and they either like accelerate or maybe slow down the pace.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's all it is. But these kinds of things, this fall guy thing with like Fauci right now, and like with Bill Gates and like all the investigation into his like marriage and like some of the other shit and whether he was involved with Epstein and all that stuff. All that shit is fucking theater. It's just some shit for people who think they know shit to pretend like they know shit so that they don't actually dig into real shit.
Thanks.
It's like, hey, look, I remember I heard some people talk about this like I work in industrial work, and they do these like safety and environmental audits a lot of times. And it's kind of a rule of thumb that like you leave some shit out in the open on purpose because you want the auditors to find some shit. Because if they don't find anything, then they start digging. And then they might find some shit that you didn't even know was some shit. Like we were talking about earlier with like, I didn't even think I was speeding, but shit, I guess I was going 7 miles an hour over the speed limit. Fuck. Now I got a $230 ticket. Shit. That sort of thing happens with this stuff where like, if you can keep people distracted by the Fauci shit, the Bill Gates shit or whatever, well, now you don't have to worry about them digging deeper and figuring out what's really going on. That's why, like, you know, the people, shit like the Epic Times and like all this stuff about like, where's this shit coming from? Is it coming from a lab in China? Like, does it really fucking matter where it came from?
Yeah.
If it's used as a way to keep you in your house for a year and a half?
Well, that's what's great about the whole Fauci thing is because he was told in the 80s, like, hey man, we're gonna hook you up. Right. And he never thought it's coming because it always does. Like, you're not the guy. Like, you're not that guy, pal. You know what I'm saying? You're not that guy, pal. Yeah. You're not the like. Anytime you think you're the guy, you're the fall guy for sure.
Right.
Like, because real players don't. Okay.
You had pictures of Joe Pesci walking in to get made. And
it's my favorite. One of my favorite scenes in any movie.
Yeah.
Just boom. That's the best fucking. No, because this is what's about like real players and real. You guys know the probable truth behind the Titanic sinking, like the whole story behind. Okay, so for anybody
with that guy who merged with Chase a few years back.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't really know it, real quick, J.P. Morgan was.
You're not supposed to say it. No, I'm just checking. Go ahead.
Was one of the. He was the money guy behind the Titanic, essentially, but he had the Olympia, which was essentially a smaller. The Titanic was replacing the Olympia, and the Olympia was kind of run down. It was like failing, like its fucking runs and shit like that. So he was like, "Well, this is too expensive to just fix, but I could get money out of this if I fucking crash this bitch." But then no one's going to insure the old piece of shit. So what am I going to do? Take off the Olympia, slap on Titanic, go boom. Brand, this is the new one, guys. Send that. And now the other thing is a lot of investors that were against him
were on that boat.
Were on that boat.
Yes.
He was also supposed to be on that boat. He was like, I'm sick.
I'm sick.
Can't
exactly.
make it. Oops. Also, second theory. There's also more to that theory. There was a boat that was supposed to save a lot of people. That when they saw the flare, they were supposed to be like right on, kind of on scene and pull, because it wasn't really about killing people. Some people, sure, but it was pretty much about like just the boat going down, not so much about the loss of life. Turns out other boats that weren't supposed to be there were there just by happenstance, and they fucked up the save, so more people died because people were trying to help. So the whole thing is like a fucking real kerfuffle, which I haven't used that word in a long time.
Wow, that's
so fun.
Impressive. You waited an hour and a half to say kerfuffle. All right.
Yeah, right.
That's our naughty word. You are banned.
But my point is, J.P. Morgan, that's a real, like, that guy's a player. Like, he's like, nah, I ain't dying. You guys are fucking dying. like that's real power. Like that guy.
What they do when they found all that cocaine on one of his boats? They're just like, that's it.
Like, damn,
enjoy the coke.
When'd you order all this, boss?
Yeah, right.
Funny. It's funny when I very first, this is like when I was just stopping being a neocon, when I had first kind of started down the libertarian path, if you will. I was on to the like Alex Jones kind of conspiracy stuff, and one of the things that I decided early on was I was going to find out who the fuck these people are that are at the top of this shit. So I like started like I started
Dangerous
with,
game there.
I know. I didn't know. I was, this is
You brought Felicia
10,
to this
15 years
channel.
ago. But
Felicia's here. He
Right,
just woke her up.
right. So I started looking, and it's funny. One of the things now, I don't think that I found the people, if you will, but one of the things that I found out is how interconnected every fucking thing is. So it's a good practice if anybody wants to try it, to start with somebody big like George Soros and see who he kind of answers to, and start going down that line and looking at who you get to, and you're going to wind up in similar places. But what was funny was I don't think, and I don't remember the guy's name, so I'm safe, but there was a guy that I found that, like, everybody that you can think of, the different people that are Rothschild connected, Soros
is the Italian guy, right?
He was French. And the guy that I found that everybody was connected to was a French designer.
Yo, we don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened, but Marcus, everybody disappeared. The show is over. No, I'm just joking.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. If y'all look this up, please go to a McDonald's and use 12 VPNs.
Right,
exactly. Buy an apple pie real quick, so you don't feel guilty for using their Wi-Fi.
Right. But no, seriously, it was an interesting practice. But I kind of tried to do what you're talking about, Adam. I looked at who I thought it would be. Now, I think that it was actually instrumental in my mind changing, and of course, this was a part of a process. But yeah, if someone were to do that and look at the different people that are connected, it's an interesting little web. And so even though you're right, we will never know the Dr. Doom. We're never going to know the guy that's at the top of the mountain. That's never going to happen. If we start to get close,
not if they're smart, and they're
Clinton.
fucking the smartest people in the world, because they're fucking orchestrating all this bullshit.
Right.
I'm pretty sure the Italian things were going to build on me, because I could have swore I heard or read somewhere a few times before, like, apparently it all comes back to this, like, family from Italy, and they're, like, apparently, like, the overall shot callers of, like, it's a name you'll never heard of. It's not like a famous name. It's a name you for sure never heard of, but, like, that's the point, right?
Yeah.
And that's actually my point. You will not know the name. No one knows. Again, no one will know a real Dr. Doom or fucking Magneto.
They never put the real, like, the richest person in the world. Their name's not in a billionaire.
No, they're probably Saudi oil princes. Like, they say Musk, but that's because he has to measure his shit in taxes, and they have to. Right. But for really, it's probably Saudi princes, because they have oil money, which is literally trillions and trillions of dollars, and they don't have to report shit. Yeah. So it's probably them for real, because Abu Dhabi is building islands at a whim. So I'm gonna say it's them. They're probably richer than Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos.
I heard somebody today say that he said Jeff Bezos went to space and he took 2 dudes and no bitches. That's all I needed to know.
Yeah, true.
And his wife was like a dick.
If my wife had just divorced me, and I had enough money to go to space, I'd be like, all right, who wants to fuck? Let's go. Like, we're going up.
I believe there was a porn filmed in No Gravity, I believe.
Nice.
It was it really?
Yeah, you know those vomit comets?
Vomit comet?
Yeah, they call it it's called a vomit comet. It's those planes that take you, like, the atmosphere.
They take you and they drop, like, to make you feel like you're in no gravity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you are. You are.
Yeah,
you are in no gravity.
You are in no gravity. It makes you feel like you're in outer space, is what I meant.
Yes. Yeah. But apparently there's a porn filmed on a vomit comet.
Wow. I did not know that.
Which I'm gonna look that up later. But
new things learned every day.
But no, seriously, like, could you imagine, like, all right, his wife just divorced him, took half his fucking billions, trillions, whatever the fuck it is, and he's just like, hey, so what 2 dudes want to go up to space with me? Like, okay.
Didn't some 18-year-old chick go with him? I thought that was creepier.
I don't know. I didn't.
I think it was like 2 dudes and an 18-year-old chick. I could have.
Maybe it was. Okay,
maybe I'm wrong. No, because I felt like some guy dropped out.
That would be creepier, though. Honestly,
so creepy.
Like, even if she's 18, like, it's like you're like 70 or something.
Dude, this has nothing to do with libertarianism or comedy, but definitely for sure comedy, actually. But, like, as I'm older, I'm 30. I'll be 35 in November. Dude, 20-year-old chicks, like, that, nothing for me. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, it's super
annoying.
Cringy. Yeah.
Like, I
So
mean,
it's
yeah,
like-
they're hot, but like, it's like, who gives it? Like, I don't give a shit. I'm married,
Yeah.
so it doesn't that on top
Yeah.
of being married. But I'm talking about even if I wasn't married, I'd be like, who cares? Like, you do nothing for me. Like, it's crazy how like how different I change. I mean, I guess for the better. I find dudes who are like my age and older who are like, 22-year-old. I'm like, all right, dude, easy. I know it's legal. I'm not saying it's illegal. I'm just saying it's fucking creepy. Like, calm down.
It is creepy. No,
Like-
it's and I have that same thing when I like because it's funny we went to Miami last week for vacation, and my wife's uncle, her godfather, is like he's retired now. He's like 94, but he was at one time he was the president of Bacardi, and anyway, his girlfriend now, his wife died a few years back. Anyway, his girlfriend now is like 90, but apparently they've been like friends and like they dated before he got married or something like that. So they've been friends for like a long time. But anyway, I was just thinking, I was like, at some point, like he was like 19 and she was like 15 though. And they were like real good friends, or 19, 19 and 15. Yeah. So it's just, even when people are in their 90s, I'm still like, hey, there's you're 91 and she's 76. That means at some point you were 40 and she was 16.
Well, I forgot. Fuck, was it Mulaney? I can't remember. The comic has a really good bit. Fuck, man, I'm sorry to that comic, but it's a really good bit about like.
I think my math is off, but who cares?
About like just that kind of that whole thing. It was like, how'd you meet Grandpa? It's like, well, your grandfather died in the war, and then he just kept showing up. Like, it's kind of true. Like, you hear a lot of those stories where it's like, well, your grandfather was working in the mines, and I was 12. It's like, oh, was he 25? What the fuck? Like, pedophile shit. Like, there's a lot of pedophile shit back then. Like, that's what it was.
Yeah,
I know. And you, I guess you can chalk it off as like, well, that's how it was. Nah. It's pedophile shit. Like, like it is. Yeah. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. Like, it is. It's creepy. Sure. It was always creepy back then, creepy now.
Right. And the thing is, I did when I was 30, I think, I dated a girl that was 22. Now, it might have been 31, something like that. But I dated a girl that was 22. And to be fair,
Robbing the cradle.
That's right. And to be fair, she was like, her personality was a little younger than even 22. Like, her personality was like 16. But, I took my son, who was little at the time, to the roller rink for his birthday and took her with me. Oh, my God. I thought, I was like, I feel like a chomo so goddamn bad because she's all riding around on the skates, and I'm like, oh my God, dude,
this is not my scene anymore. Yeah,
my brother-in-law is 29 or 30, 29 or 30 around that, and I think 29, and his girlfriend is 24, and I see the difference in even them. But when I talk to her, my wife talks to her, I'm like, God damn. What the fuck are we talking about here? like, it's just like, what are we doing?
Do you think that Saweetie's new song is good?
It's not even like she's retarded. It's just like a dumb, but it's just like, it's just I'm just saying, but kind of. Yeah, kind of. She's not like totally vapid, but like, there's a disconnect of 10 years.
Right.
You're like,
it makes a big difference, especially in this. I think it's accelerating. I think that distance, age-wise, is accelerating. Like, it's getting more distant year by year. The references are just so weird.
All right, just to go back to how I can never date a 20-year-old, or if I was single, my wife is 2 weeks older than me, same year, and I feel like we grew up not the same time, because I'll make references from the 90s, and she'll be like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Did you grow? You were an alien? It's you wearing a fucking skin of a person trying to blend in."
You never saw Animaniacs? What are you talking about?
Yes. Because like I'll say like shit like that. I'll be like, oh, from like Terminator. If you're like, I never really saw Terminator. I'm like, fuck you,
right?
Fuck you.
Like that scene from The Office where Michael tells Oscar that he's faggy for not having watched Die Hard or something like that, and it goes through the whole thing. Anyway, it's
and then the thing with my wife too is like, no, she also doesn't watch TV or movies. Like she's like hard prep. So it's like, so when I have a hard time with her, and we're the same fucking age, so I can't imagine like some 22-year-old being like just doing TikTok dances, and I'm like, fucking, we're trying to eat steak. Stop.
Yep. Yeah, I feel you. I do have to say, I love my wife. My wife is an amazing human being, and I am lucky every single day that she chooses to be with me. but she was raised in a hardcore Christian like environment. So I run into some of that with her as well, where I'm like, you remember back when in the 80s? She's like, I wasn't allowed to watch that. You know, and I'm like,
I have a comic friend of mine.
That's a little bit different though. Like not being allowed to do it and just being like, what are you talking about? It's like, what were you interested in? Damn it.
Well,
you know,
to be fair, like when my wife was younger, like they didn't let them watch like a lot of TV and stuff.
Oh, see, that's a big part of it.
Still, you were in college and you had the internet. Like fucking, like she even uses the iPhone like an old lady. Like this is how she holds and uses her. This is visual, so sorry for the audio, but this is how she uses her iPhone and how she'll scroll. Ready? It's infuriating. I'm like, am I married to your mom or you? Right? Like it's so fucking. So it's like there is that there is a disconnect. Again, even the same age, like, there is a disconnect sometimes with referencing and stuff like that. And you're like, get it though. You know, you're like, can you get what I'm saying? Get it. Like, get the thing, get the joke in this movie, or pretend to. Just pretend to and just move on. Like, make me feel better.
Yeah, but then she'll sound like the T2 or whatever, where with T1000 or whatever the fuck it is, where he's
what's that?
Like,
what's that?
Like, oh yeah, Fluffy's fine. It's like like the dog's name's not, or no, Wolfie. That's the dog's name in Terminator 2. It's Wolfie. Wolfie is. So what did he? I don't remember what the dog's real name is, but Wolfie is the name that Schwarzenegger uses to find out if they're telling the truth or not. Like, oh yeah, Wolfie's fine. He's like, that's not your mom. They're dead.
Oh yeah, I love. Yeah. By the way, T2, arguably best action movie of all time.
Very good.
Nico, go in.
Terminator movie. I'll give it that. Best action movie. Like,
okay, name a better action movie than T2, and I could break down why it's the best movie of all time. It gives you literally everything you need in an action movie, every single thing.
Straight action.
No, it gives you story, it gives you heartbreak, it gives you straight action, great storyline, great continuation, a better sequel than the original. What's a better action movie than T2?
I can't do it. I think I'm with you. I think it might very well be.
Raiders
action movie.
Raiders is not action. That's adventure.
What about?
And also,
Warriors?
it's still not better than
here,
there's not more action than T2. No way. No way is that more action than T2.
Action-packed cause, like fighting in all the action scenes. I was gonna go John Wick, but can't do that.
No, you want to fight right now, John? Fucking say John Wick is holding. Not even a candle to T2. By the way, I never even seen a John Wick movie, but I
have.
What?
You haven't seen
what? He killed.
How old are you?
With pencils, man. No, let me.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't have to watch it. It's not better than Terminator 2. This is not.
Okay, so I will say Chronicles of Riddick is better than T2.
You're fucking with me.
I disagree.
That has to be a troll. If you're trolling me, I'll leave the podcast right now.
Right.
I'll end this interview right now.
It's like, I'm out.
I literally just grabbed something out of thin air and I was just like, let me think of something that's more recent than that, that's in like a different era, and just pull it out of thin air.
You can't do it. It's like naming.
No, you can't. T2. Oh, so you could do that Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I just did it twice.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Name. How many cereals do we have to name?
No, I think I'm sorry. I've had this argument before. T2,
I agree.
best action movie of all time. Die Hard's good, not better.
No. Bruce Willis is not better than fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's really where that comes down to.
We're completely forgetting about like Jason Statham.
No, we're not.
I don't dig all the Jason Statham stuff.
You don't have to dig all of them, but like,
no, I'm just saying like his whole.
Okay, so hold on, fine. So Transporter, you telling me was banging like action?
No, but
hold on. I got this.
Gone in 60 Seconds was better than that.
Got this. You're telling me the Transporter storyline and acting was better than Thank you. Sit down.
I'm sitting already.
Sit down. I'm a Transporter, not you. Transporter can take a seat. Sit down, Transporter.
Right.
It's not better. I'm telling you, when he lowers himself into the lava and the thumbs, I cry. Maybe because I have brain trauma. Sure, that helps. Brain trauma helps.
What happened?
I switched. I was trying to go get I was just grabbing I was going to grab a picture frame, and it changed the whole outlook of the show. My bad. That's that's my other show that I do on Monday nights. Shout out to I Got Next.
Call T2
Right.
T2 fandom podcast.
Right.
that we're gonna co-host without fucking Nico. We're just gonna shit on you the whole time.
Right. We're going to talk about how awful Nico did.
What your fucking stupid idea about what an action movie is and how
John
wrong
Carter.
you are.
But
Great books.
to kind of wrap this up and start moving towards wrapping it up for the evening. One of the things I want to say, Adam, is that I think that what you do and is very important to the libertarian movement in general. We will never. We talked earlier about the possibility of moving to a truly free society or a voluntarist society, and we'll never get there if we don't bring entertainment, if we don't bring comedy, if we don't bring music, if we don't bring those kinds of entertainment to the table. That doesn't mean that we're going to compete, because we're not. They're never. I love you, Adam. I think you're a great guy. I think you're funny. I think that I wish you the best of success. You're not going to make it to the level of more than likely. I hope I'm wrong, but you're not gonna be at the top tier of comedy. You're just not gonna. You're not gonna be
all my shows. What do you know? No, I'm kidding. No. He's right. No, because I say it to myself all the time. I go, I'm psyched. I just get to do comedy and podcasting for like where I'm at. Like of course I'm always striving to be better and always do bigger shit. But like I'm psyched I get to do this. Like I never look at Rogan and be like, one day, never ever have I done that. No, I 100% know where you're coming from. Of course I can make fun of that because I'm a comic, but no, I do 100% agree with you. Know what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's not because you don't have the talent or you don't have the ability. It's because we live in a status society, and they're only going to promote status to those kinds of levels. So we're not. So when people like criticize, for instance, different rappers or different musicians for being a libertarian, and they're like, oh, but they sound like shit. Well, of course they sound like shit. They're not produced by somebody that has multi-million-dollar record deals.
I would argue Eric July does not sound like shit, though.
I would agree. There are a lot of people.
Again, there's again, like we're painting with broad brushes here, but yeah, most libertarian entertainment's whatever, because it's like silenced or not backed by money.
Right.
It's a lot of self. Yeah. I think about it like I don't have a manager or agent. I'm not big enough to so I book all my own shit just through word of mouth or friends and reputation, right? That's how I do it. Like. It's hard to get that shit, and like nowadays people look at you and like I'm very vocally active on about libertarian shit on Twitter, straight up trashing the state, trashing identity politics, and like they don't like that, right? So like nothing to be like you're funny also, wow, you say some crazy shit. They're like, come on anyway, like that's done. Like those days are over. Like but
I agree, but I also have to give a couple shout outs, and the shout outs what just happened.
This is your quote that you were talking about earlier from Lennon.
All right, cool. We'll get to it in a second because I want to make this point. Although I do agree with myself and I agree with what you're saying, Adam, one of the things that gives me hope is Bill Burr got on stage and said some pretty goddamn libertarian things and got away with it. And so did Chappelle. There have been people that sure, they're not all libertarians. They're not 100% pure or whatever, but they got on stage and they said shit that was true. And that's what libertarians do, is they tell the truth. Yeah. And before we get to the John Lennon quote, I want to get to this particular point as it involves you. And that is, freedom isn't hard. I put a tweet out earlier this week on Twitter. Freedom's not hard. Libertarians try very, very hard to make it hard. They try very, very hard to make it to where you have to read this big book or you have to do these things. No, freedom's easy. Freedom is don't hurt other people. It really is that easy. And so to the point, this is the John Lennon quote that people can read. And for the Chad, do you want to read it for the audio audience?
Yeah, when it gets down to having to use violence, then you're playing the system's game. The establishment will irritate you, pull your beard, flick your face to make you fight, because once they've got you violent, then they know how to handle you. The only thing they don't know how to handle is nonviolence and humor. So and that's why it was so important for us to have Adam on tonight. Is that I think one of the things that we do, and that's Marcus and I were talking about this earlier today, is this is part of how you beat back the beast, right? Is that I don't think we fight. I don't think we win a fight where you fight fire with fire. You've got to douse it with water. You've got to use love. You've got to use compassion. You've got to use building shit and working and building for yourself and community and family and those things. And you've got to use humor. Like this is part of what makes it easier to go through. And Adam, you probably you touched on this a little bit, I think, when you were early on when we were talking about like some of your head trauma and things like that. But like being able to laugh and to have some sort of levity to a shitty situation sometimes is the only way to get through it. They call it gallows laughter in some circles because it's what you need as like a therapy to kind of make it through what is impending doom or something like that. And I think a lot of times what people need is they need that sort of outlet for a sense of hope and being able to kind of look at what they're going through and be like, okay, look, shit can get bad. This is bad, but maybe it's not that bad. And I can laugh at this. And then we can move on and we can take the next steps. Yeah,
dude, I've seen like the worst shit ever, like in person, like literally decapitations all the way down to whatever you can think of. Like, so like I'm pretty dead inside, from like that shit. So like that's
what I'm talking about. You see, like to be able to laugh through that, it's like
So like I know seriously, like if I'm in a group setting and like a loud firework go off that people aren't expecting, I don't move. Like I just go, I identify the sound. I go, that's potential danger. I go, no, it's firework. But like, I'm just so beaten over the head to like, no, don't freak out. Stay calm. Where's it coming from? Look for it. I don't have a gun, so it doesn't matter. So turn and run because I can't fight whatever that sound is. Right. But like, so I'm just like fucking broken from that shit. Like I still have feelings and cry all the time, but like I can't control that. That's from my head shit. But like when I see like violence and dead bodies, I'm like, that's sad, but I have to make fun of it because that's how I handle it. Because no one should see dead kids. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like it's not normal for like you to go through life being like, oh, I saw 3 dead kids last year. Yeah, like that shouldn't be what we're doing. I don't mean cops. I mean like people. Like it's just
anybody.
So it's like not normal. So like, what's a way to combat you from wanting to put a bullet in your fucking head? Mm-hmm. Make a dead baby joke because like that's I know, but that's
you're still alive,
right? And the other thing that's very annoying is like outsiders. I don't even mean outsiders of cops. I mean like outsiders of people who get that mentality. They think you're fucking the most insensitive piece of shit and like you're a monster. I'm like, lady, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Or guy, whatever.
And I've literally seen it and you haven't.
Right. I'm like, you don't understand like what the fuck I'm doing right now. I'm like, this is therapy so I don't kill myself. I'm like, we're all doing this. So like, we don't fucking like it's miserable. Like walk like, oh, when this guy died a month ago, awesome, can't wait to smell this forever.
Right.
Like that smell doesn't leave your brain. Like I smell that dead guy right now. I'm talking about it. That smell kicked back in my brain.
Dude, I've got a degree in funeral service. I have embalmed over 100 people. So and so there is one particular person that had basically, long story short, they fell. It was in the middle of winter and they were on the toilet and they died and they fell on the heater that was in the bathroom.
Fucking no.
there were like worms crawling.
Marcus,
off
what the
the
fuck
table.
are you doing to us now?
Right. There were worms crawling off the table into the drain in the
This was
in the
Aquarian
prep room.
Anarchy, everybody.
Right. So when you say you understand when you say that you understand that smell, that one will never leave. I know exactly what that smells.
There was this big fat lady who died on her couch in the dead of summer with no AC, and then she just became part of the couch. And I remember the fucking coroner was like, "Oh, we got to remove bracelets." I was like, "You got to remove her bracelets."
How about we get a wrist off first?
I was like, "I don't give up. I'll quit right now, guy." I'm like, "Are you out of your fucking mind?"
Motherfucker became French real quick.
One of my favorite things I always thought to myself, and was they made us take a Cobra training, and it's not what you think. It's not cool. It's not like you get to play with snakes. It's fucking, it's like chemical ordnance, biological, radiological attack, whatever the fuck I think it's for. And it was like the hazmat suit shit, and it was like, listen, like if a dirty bomb goes off in Manhattan, like you might have to respond. I go, 2 things. I work in Staten Island. No, I'm not.
Right.
2, I'll quit the second that bomb goes off. If like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that dirty bomb goes off, I'm like, you got to go. But like, here's my gun and shield. This has been fun. But if you think I'm going into a radioactive with the 8 hours of training you gave me with your equipment that I know doesn't work,
right.
$18 an hour or whatever the fuck it is.
Fucking like, I just remember, I'm like, you would just see a mass quitting like if that happened, because like you guys that are our team specialized for that. The NYPD has, like, I would say that the NYPD, they have something for everything. Like they are so self-contained. Like you learn this. Like they hate playing with others. Like the feds down and or up. Like they're like, nah, we got it. Like the feds will want to come in and be like, we want to do. They go, nah, we got it. Like like we want to patrol. They're like, nah, we got it. Like they don't give a fuck. There's a story of state troopers, or technically New York State, in New York City. You know, they still is part of the state. They were on a highway in Staten Island with a Staten Island Expressway, and the highway Staten Island NYPD unit pulled up next to them and were like, "What are you guys doing here?" And they're like, "What do you mean?" Like they're like, "Does your car say NYPD on it? Get the fuck out." And they kicked him out. Like they don't play. Like they just don't give a shit.
Oh, there are football teams out there. They actually like have
NYPD is they don't play nice with others. They're very much like they want to handle everything. They have the money for it, so they don't need help. So they're like, we want to handle everything. We don't want to do it. Now they'll take federal money for terrorist shit, sure, right? but like they don't need anything. There's a unit for everything. There's a beekeeping unit.
Take money, just not orders.
Right.
There's a beekeeper unit.
I'm not kidding. There's a beekeeping.
Is that all
unit.
Upstate, or is there any beekeeping going
City,
on in the
NYPD.
city?
Look, if you look up right now, Google NYPD beekeeping. NYPD beekeeping unit. Look, Google at home right now. I swear to God, it's a fucking thing.
Oh,
they have there's a unit for everything. It's fucking stupid. But it is good in the sense of like, if that shit does happen, like the average dummy won't be like, oh, I guess I have to handle this now. Like the average dumb cop, you know what I'm saying? At least they have guys that's like their whole deal. But like that, yeah. But so there is good things they do, but overall they're a police department, so they're evil. But they do have cool capabilities. I'll say that.
But no, look, man. There's a lot of really like evil thieving people who have like really cool technology at their fingertips all the time, right? That doesn't make it.
Like, I will say, I saw a lot of cool shit on that job. Yeah. Like I was on the front lines of cool shit. I'll say that was cool. Like you know, like the Thanksgiving.
Dr. Doom has a metal face. I mean, fuck.
That's
like,
cool.
You know, like doesn't make Dr. Doom an awesome dude.
Like the Thanksgiving Day parade, like I got to be on the front line for that. Was pretty cool. Like I would never go to that ever. But the fact that I never had to sit in the crowd and actually got to see it, that's cool. You know, that's a cool benefit. But like, then also nothing else is cool benefit of it though. So there's like very cool little parts of being have a cool benefit as opposed to overall shit.
Right. So, what would you like to plug, Adam?
Oh yeah, so just I guess so 2 things primarily. Please go to my personal YouTube page. I'm trying to get over 100 subscribers, so I get my own personal URL.
Link below.
So I'm at like 96 or 5 right now, so I'm like 5 away. So just type my name in, Adam Nutter, and type in The Porcupine. That's my podcast. So please go sub to that, rate, review it on all the stuff, and if you could sub to my individual YouTube channel. And then if you guys thought I was funny and you like that, go over to Cult of Us YouTube. So youtube.com/Cult of Us. That's my comedy podcast to do with my good friend Neil Wood. He's another comic. And it's just us shooting the shit. We go live, so we don't edit, so it's all fun. Just us goofing around, trying to make you guys laugh. That's why I just recorded right before I did with you guys, and that was a fun episode. He was mad about other shit in his life, so it was a real fun episode of him just yelling. So listen to Cult of Us, and of course, guys, come see me on the road if you can. The 25th, I'll be up at Comics in Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. And then the 29th, I'll be in Astoria, Queens, doing 8-Ball Comedy at 3525 Steinway Street. Come to that. That's going to be fucking fun. And then, I'm going back home to my trash island, Staten Island. I'll be there August 11th at Steiny's Pub, 8 o'clock show. Come out to that. And then the big one I want to plug is Chalfont, PA. It's like 30 minutes outside of Philadelphia. Me and Neil and I, we run from our little company, Drop Tent, we do here. We run monthly comedy shows there. They're very popular. They sell out all the fucking time. We run 2 shows now, a 7:30 show and a 9:30 show. So nice. August 14th, 2 shows, 7:30, 9:30. Again, if you're in the Philly area or Bucks County area, come out. droptent.com/events for your tickets. They're already selling, and it's not even August yet. These will sell out. I get DMs from people being like, you have tickets? I'm like, no, I don't understand the issue. Get them ahead of time. It sells out. We get really good comics down. It's not just Neil and I all the time. We have really good comics. If you guys know Aaron Berg at all, he does Compound Media. He's on Compound Media, a podcast. Really, really great comic. Really funny dude. He's coming out headlining the October show. So coming out. I'm on the road. I try to do a lot of shows. So coming out, support if you can, and just follow my podcast and all that shit. And at Adam Nutter on Twitter and all that great shit.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right. You guys got anything left for Adam?
No, thanks a billion for showing up and having a great conversation, dropping some gems. And stay funny out here.
Yeah, brother. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
This is a lot of fun. We've had a bunch of different guests and everything, and I think you never know, when you announce hey, we got a comedian coming on tonight. It's everybody's doesn't know exactly what to expect, but this was really, really a lot of fun. I'm in stitches still. And shout out to Nico for dropping at the end of the show. Nico just dropping the bomb there at the end. Nico always comes with he's got at least one gem that he drops at some point during the show. But I appreciate your ability to take any situation. And I think it probably comes from the fact that you've been through so much shit, just taking that stuff and turning it into something where you can make it to where you can live with it, live with without, like you said, without wanting to put a bullet in your head, because there's some fucked up shit that goes on in the world, and the people who live to see another day after that shit have to find some way to cope with it. So,
yeah, man. I
appreciate you doing that.
This is kind of just my motto, man. Is just hey, you can't change what happened to you, so fucking make what's best of it and just move the fuck on.
True.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So again, check him out. I think we've got most of what he talked about linked below. If not, you can follow him on Twitter. It is definitely linked below, and find his information there. Again, this is important stuff, and it may be that it's laughter that sets us free, and I think that it's more likely to do that than a 2,000-page book.
It's in my boss fight. We need an archer, we need a thief, we need a swordsman, we need a fucking barbarian, we need a comedian. We need everything. We need everything. Somebody's got to tickle the monster. We need all these things so that we can fucking not take this beast down, and it's definitely a big part of it. So, and don't forget, while you're going through and clicking on Adam's links and everything like that, don't forget to like this show as well, this episode, to share it, to subscribe it. Don't forget 2 shares to speed the spread. We definitely want to speed the spread of this podcast. Man, it's been a long time since 2 weeks to slow the spread was a thing, but sure. We're still doing 2 shares to speed the spread. And go to the Patreon, become a patron. At the $5 level, you get to join our Anarch chat, where you get to join the conversation there, and also the Teespring store, where you can get a banner or a shirt or a hoodie. We got the Make Anarchy Great Again hoodie that I wore on January 6th. That was fun, but no, it's it's all in fun. It's all in fun. It's just jokes, people. Don't come after us. But anyway, with that, we appreciate you coming on the show, Adam, and I'm going to let Marcus take us home.
All right, guys, make sure you stay free.
Peace.